cool. I got to stay there. During that time, Todd Weigel and I, we started this training business. The common question of a lot of these fire departments is, how are we keeping track of this training we're doing with you guys? Because right now we use an Excel spreadsheet. And departments like yourselves probably had something a little bit more advanced in an Excel spreadsheet than a volunteer department. You probably had some other systems out there, and there's plenty of them. But Todd and I kept running into the same problem, is all these systems are not very user-friendly. They kind of suck. They're really hard to use, they're antiquated, nobody really wants to update them because, once we've got you in, you're just going to keep paying because you got to keep your stuff somewhere, right? Well, that somewhere is not a very good place. So Todd and I, we started to go through this process of how can we make something better, right? How can we fix something in the fire service? So we started talking to Jeff. Jeff is his brother. He lives in New York, and he's a software developer. That's what he does. That's his trade, and he's really, really good at it. So we started talking to Jeff. We're recording back here. So we started talking to Jeff. And Jeff kind of pointed us in the direction of this Moodle program, which a lot of colleges use Moodle to spool up their students and deliver content, specifically delivering content to their students for the non-brick and mortar type classes, right, which everybody's going to these days. So we started using this Moodle program, and we went, oh my God, this is like way more complicated than we need, right? We're firemen. We got to keep this really simple. So we went back to Jeff. We said, Jeff, the Moodle thing isn't going to work. And Jeff says, all right, let's start from the ground up. We said, okay, perfect. So we built this framework. We started storyboarding this thing out, trying to figure out what we could come up with. And what you see here today is Rescue Hub. So Rescue Hub has been under development for about 3-4 years now. We've had the gracious, good customers of Bellingham and South Snohomish County Fire, which are well over a couple hundred people a shot. And they've really aided us in the development of this program and where it is today. Okay, so this program is very scalable to a small 25-guy volunteer department, all the way up to, if we wanted to, the city of Seattle. It would definitely work for them. But maintaining its simplicity was our goal. Okay, today's spool up here is about you guys as company officers and how you're going to use the program. We've already done the administrative side, and Jeff is working with Chris and his assistant. What was her name again? I can't remember. Marcia. Your right hand. Okay, your right hand of Marcia, spinning her up on how to use this program and how to put data in here so you guys as company officers can eventually use that data in the form of classes and events and all that stuff on the left-hand column that Jeff's going to go through. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Jeff. He's going to run through the process of kind of being a company officer. I'm in the room to answer questions firsthand and how we can take a look at it on my computer here, or anybody else that has a laptop in the room, fire it up. Bring it up on Rescue Hub. You can bring Rescue Hub up on your phone if you want to. So if you got a phone, bring it up on your phone. You can bring it up on an iPad, bring it up on an iPad, okay? Any computer device will work with this program, okay? The beauty of that is, as a company officer, I can take my phone with me. I can go out and do a manipulative drill, go pull some hose, throw some ladders, and cut some holes, and I can put my guys right into that phone. I don't have to do it back at the station in log training, okay? It's already there. If I need to reference any material while I'm out in the field, any lesson plan work I need to do, it's right there at your fingertips, okay? Before you leave the station, okay? All this stuff is in the program. We can take anything from Rescue Hub, we can put it up on a screen, we can deliver PowerPoints, we can put in lesson plans, we can build lesson plans on here, we can take tests on here. All kinds of crazy stuff that company officers don't even want to know about at this point. So we want to give you the simple version of this. We want to make this seamless for you. I understand you got 2 programs coming online here the first of the year. 2019 is going to be a big year for technology up here, sounds like, okay? The other program, I can't speak to that, but I can speak to Rescue Hub and say, this is going to be the simple one for you. You guys are going to be able to use this and adapt to it very well. It's very intuitive, and that's what we want it to be. Myself, as a company officer in Marysville, I wish that my department would use this program. Right now, we use one of the competitors for another reason, because a bunch of chiefs decided they wanted to use the other competitor, and that's fine. I have to support that as a company officer. So I encourage you as a company officer, your department has accepted Rescue Hub into its training program. I encourage you to do the same with you, right? Implement this, let your guys know this is where we're going, this is why, and it's a positive thing for North Waco, okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So, Jeff, have you introduce yourself?
Okay, very good. So, my name is Jeff Weigel, the owner and developer of Rescue Hub. And so, kind of what I thought we might do is I know that you guys have, it sounds to me like most everyone is already logged into the system. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then how far have you guys actually gotten as far as getting into the system? I know that I think we set up a task for you guys to complete, which is a pretty basic one, which is to go in and try and find your profile, make sure that it's accurate, and then there was a couple of other things that were attached to it, or mostly just to kind of look around Rescue Hub. Is that have you guys had a chance to do that at this point?
Yes, we should.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So, well, that's good. So I think what we'll do then, I mean, we kind of set that up intentionally just so that you guys have something as soon as you log in to be able to log in, to navigate around a little bit, and then also just to kind of show you how tasks are assigned and how to check those off, which we try to keep it pretty straightforward. So. So I think what might make the most sense is we're just going to do kind of a quick walkthrough and hit on some of the things that are going to be pretty common for you to be doing as a company officer. So as Jason said, is that all this is accessible on your phone, which is great. So it is going to look a little bit different on the phone, but any of the information that is here is accessible just by going to the rescuehub.com website, logging in, and kind of going from there. So the first thing that you're going to see when you log in is this is a calendar page, and as well as they've got some. Chris has some upcoming training opportunities that are listed here. So this is kind of a way the training opportunities that are shown here. It's kind of a way to hopefully cut down on some of the email that probably gets sent out in terms of just letting you guys know about things that are outside of your department that are opportunities for training. So you'll see that up at the top of the page. The other thing as well, I think a pretty common question when for company officers is what's going on today. So if there's anything that is that's on the calendar for scheduled training, that's pretty much what you're going to find right here on the calendar. So not a lot that's on the calendar right here for January. I'm sure you guys are much busier than this, but it looks like Chris has got Module 1 testing, and has got some EMS training that's coming up towards the end of this month. So on any of these calendar events, all you have to do is just if you want to see more information about them, all you have to do is just click on the name of the event, and it'll pop up with more information. So typically what they'll do is they'll put in if there's anything that you need to know about training on that particular day, that you may see that. The other thing that you may see as well is like a big button down here. I don't see one on this particular calendar entry, but if Chris is referencing any kind of training material that's stored in Rescue Hub, you might see a button here that would take you to additional training information. So we're going to take a quick look here to see if there's possibly anything else here for this one. So if there's specific information, it's pretty easy to find right here within Rescue Hub. So, and then the other thing as well is that when it comes time for to actually roster people to take attendance at training, is that process is pretty straightforward. So I think what I may do is kind of walk you through what that process looks like, since it's going to be up to I think it's up to Chris as far as specifically who's responsible for rostering training. I know that the departments that we work with tend to do it in a couple of different ways. Sometimes it's the company officer's responsibility for rostering themselves and their crew, and sometimes it's the responsibility of whoever is the instructor that day. So, Chris, do you have a sense as far as how you'd like that to be handled here?
There's two ways. There's individual trainings and there's company officer delivered trainings. Individual trainings would be more of your EMS online type training, which you have to accomplish. You go in, you check yourself off. However, there's company officer or training division delivered trainings where the company officer will be checking off the personnel that they're in charge of. So there's two different ways of doing it. It's all identified in there.
Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and put today's meeting on the calendar here. So I'm just going to say that this is 9 Not sure how late you guys are going till, but okay. And then we're at Odell, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so as a company officer, you're not really going to be adding things to the training calendar, but what you are going to see is anything that that's been put on the calendar. You'll be able to access that pretty easily. And actually, why don't we do this? I'm going to log in as one of you guys here. So is John here today?
Yep.
Okay. I'm logging in as you. Hi, John. Okay. So what you'll see is if there's things on the calendar that if you've specifically been invited to attend some kind of training, is that if it's for things that are happening today and tomorrow, Rescue Hub will kind of pull that up and show you as soon as you log in. So it'll make it really easy and really obvious what's going on. So then if you're responsible for rostering training, all you have to do is if it's scheduled training that you see on the calendar, just click on the event itself, and then you'll see a button over here that says roster my crew. So regardless of whether you're doing it as the instructor or whether you're doing it as the CO, the process is exactly the same. So you click on the button, and then it'll there's a box here that says stat present, and then so what we'll do is it's just a matter of typing in the names of the people who are here. So do you want to just throw out a couple of names of folks that are in the room? I don't need to necessarily do everybody here right now, but
Stephen Page and Tony Esser.
So I couldn't hear that. So
Stephen Page and Tony Esser.
okay, there we go. Okay. So it's just a matter of typing in their name, and then once you've got those people on here, you just click record, and that's it. It's really not any more difficult than that. So if you have to go back, if there's more people that show up, you can always hit the button again, and then start adding more people to the list as they arrive. So that part is pretty straightforward, pretty easy, especially if it's training that's been scheduled. So does that make sense as far as how that piece of it works?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. The other thing that the other place that you'll probably spend some time in Rescue Hub is on the what's called the My Assign training page. This is really just kind of intended as a one-stop shop place to find any training that you have been assigned to, and then also there will be links and buttons that you can use to as you complete training, you'll be able to in some cases you'll be able to check it off yourself that you've actually done it. So when we go to My Assigned Training page, you're going to see several different sections. So the first thing is going to over here is going to be this event section. And so when we talk about an event in Rescue Hub, that's really anything that happens at a specific day, time, and location. So this meeting here, in Rescue Hub terminology, would be considered an event. Any kind of scheduled training would also be considered an event. So it typically it's just something that goes in the calendar. If you have something that you're doing with your crew that maybe it doesn't meet a specific training requirement, but it's something that you are logging as training anyway, then that's something that you would record as an event within Rescue Hub. The other terminology within Rescue Hub is what we call a task. And so if you've already gone in to check off the task that was already assigned to you for Rescue Hub familiarization, so log in, find My Assigned Training page, see your training requirements, then you already kind of know what that task looks like. So typically tasks are going to be any kind of a training activity that you're going to do kind of on your own. It would be something that you can do on your own. You can kind of do whenever you want, but it typically will have some sort of a due date. So since a lot of your training is on a quarterly basis, you can see here that these tasks are all set up as with a March 31st due date. So really the difference is that the tasks are something you check off and it's kind of on your own, and events are typically things that are that are scheduled or happen at a specific day and time. So then if you scroll down a little bit further on the My Assigned Training page, this is going to be a list of all the training requirements that have been assigned to you. So, and in Rescue Hub terminology, a requirement is pretty simple. It's really anything that's required of you by your training staff. So in this case here, you've got, and the requirements themselves tend to be kind of a placeholder for whatever training it is that's been required. And so if you take a look here, you've got several different requirements. You've got several EMS OTEP things that are assigned to you for the upcoming quarter. You've got you've got excited delirium training that's going on, and then looks like a little bit more EMS activity, CPR, IGEL review. Then you also have it's the annual asbestos training, and then all of these other. I'm not going to go through each of them individually, but so basically what you're going to see here is just a list of the things that need to get done over the course of the quarter or the course of the year, depending on when they were specifically assigned. And then what you'll also notice over here is that you'll see this completed column here, and you'll see a bunch of red X's. This is pretty consistent throughout Rescue Hub, is that if you see a red X, that means that it's something that hasn't been completed yet. Whereas once you have completed a task in Rescue Hub, you'll actually see it as a green check mark. So the green check marks are good, the red X's are bad. You want to make sure that if you see the red X's, that's just those are training activities that you need to complete over the course of the upcoming quarter. So now if you take a look at this as well, is that you'll see that there are that anything that's in blue here is a link that you can click. And so you'll see here that we've got the requirement itself listed, and then over here you'll see the tasks that are associated with each of these requirements. So we're going to take a look. I'm not going to check anything off here, but we'll at least take a look and kind of see exactly how this is set up. So for example, here we've got EMS Online, head, neck, and spine injuries. Typically what we like to see, and it looks like Chris has done a good job of this, is to see just a description of what exactly it is that you're expected to do over to complete this particular task. So in this case here, you're going to log into to EMS Online to submit the form to the training division for entry into the OTEP system. So what you'll see here is that there is a button here that says Skill BLS 2019 Head, Neck, and Spine Injuries. So if you click on that, it will actually take you to a page that has some additional training information. So in this case here, it just has a link to EMS Online, but it's also possible that Chris may have other training material. It might be PDFs that you can download and take a look at, or PowerPoints, video. Any of that kind of stuff can be dropped right into Rescue Hub and accessed kind of the way that I've showed you here. So I think the intent with this is that you complete the online training, submit this to the training division, and then once you have completed it, all you have to do is just check the box here that says, "Yep, I did this." And then if you're recording this the same day that you actually completed the training, then you're good. You just click the submit button. Let's say that you did it the last time that you were on shift and just forgot to enter it, you can always change the date. So if this actually happened on the first, it's pretty straightforward to change that. So, and then once you click submit, then what that does is that records the training that's been completed in the system. It also makes it so that Chris and anyone else that's in the system can see that you have completed this specific.
Jeff, real quick, you got a question? Go ahead.
So,
hey Jeff, I got a question for you. If you go to the link on that, we'll use the neck and spine one that he has here. And if you go to the skill sheet link that he has down in the box
this
there.
one here? Yep.
You go to that, and then it says completed assigned training. Do we have to click that as well to receive?
You don't have to. Hang on just a second here. I think the way that they've set this up is that it has, they set this up as just a link that you can click that'll take you to the EMS Online website.
Yeah, no,
That's all it does.
I get that, but right below that, there's a thing that says completed assigned training. I reviewed the class material above and completed the assignment.
Yeah, this is just another place that you can check off this particular task.
Okay.
So
it'll credit you
you
for
can do
the
it.
previous
Yeah,
page
so
as
if you
well?
do it here, or if you do it down here,
Okay.
Rescue Hub will record it all in the same place. You only
Okay.
have to do it just one time.
I just wanna make
And
sure
then
we weren't
that will
having to
check
double
that
click.
task off from your MySign training page, so that it'll show that stuff.
A lot of this, some of this checkoff stuff might be based on what Chris sets up for individual checkoff purposes. So a firefighter goes in, does his EMS online, he'd be able to check that off if he sets that up that way. Other than that, it's going to be probably a company officer level at this point.
Correct.
Yeah.
So does that make sense as far as checking off tasks and how that works within Rescue Hub?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the calendar events, tasks, MySign training. The other thing that you may want to do as well is that, and actually maybe I should ask this question of Chris first, but generally speaking, do you have your requirements set up so that firefighters and company officers are pretty much responsible for the same training? Do you have any training that is specific to only company officers or only to firefighters?
Everybody is the same. As we go into the future, that will be set up, but right now everyone's consistent and the same.
Gotcha. Okay. So I think one thing I will kind of show you guys as well is that my guess is that the EMS online, is that all considered individual training? Is that something that people will do individually and complete that on their own, or is any of this things that they will do as a group?
They can do it individually, but they can also do it as a crew. The company
Okay.
officer will sign that off. As they do their skill sheets, they can complete that like they normally would, but instead of sending the skill sheets in, do you mind showing them how to upload the skill sheet into the system?
Sure. Do you want me to show them how to upload that?
Correct, yeah, 'cause that's gonna be a
Okay.
vital component for them as well.
Okay. Yeah, let me take a look. I'd have to double check to see whether, did you set up any of your EMS online tasks such that, because I think there's a switch in there where you can say, allow a skill sheet to be uploaded. Do you know if you set up any of those that way?
I don't know if I did it for the EMS online. I did it for some other tasks that were assigned to them, but
Okay.
I don't remember for EMS online.
Okay. Do you say that there was one that you did set it up that way?
Correct, I believe the SCBA one was set up that way.
Okay, let's take a look. Got it. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely walk through that one. So, so one of the things I do want to show you guys is that if you're completing any of this training as a crew, is that you because the way that I showed you it will only check you off individually as completed that particular training. But if you use this roster my crew button on any of these tasks, what it will do is it will allow you to not only check off that task for you, but also for the other folks that are on your crew. So when I click the button, it asks me to choose a task, and so the one here is the one that I want that's already been set up for me. So I'll just click that, and now it's going to be pretty similar to what I did before. In that, but instead of there being a checkbox, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to enter people's names. So I'll say Aaron Holtz, we'll say Cody, Russ. Let's say that those were the three people that it says John and two people that were on his crew. Then what I could do is once I click the button on this, then it will check off this task for all three of those folks. So that's kind of how you would do that if you're doing this for yourself and for your group. I'm not going to check that off for you because I think you still have to complete this. So, let's see. Okay, so let's see. Let's take a look at the SCBA training here. And I think what I'm going to do, if you're okay with this, I'm logged in as John, and I'm actually going to go through the process of taking the sheet, uploading it, and then just to kind of show you for demonstration purposes. And then later, what we'll do is I'll remove that and uncheck it. So unfortunately, John doesn't get a free pass on this one. So okay, so let's go back to, so we started off on the MyAssign training page. We clicked on the requirement. So this is going to tell you, this is just the page that's going to tell you about the requirement. But what we really want to do is we actually want to look at the task, because that's what we're going to be using to check off that we've completed this. So when we look at the task, it's going to have all the information here. It's going to say in here, it's going to say attach a file, and that it's required. Must attach a document or photo to complete this task. So what you're going to do is you're going to walk through the skill sheet. And so if you click on this, it's going to take you right to the procedure. It's going to tell you the steps, and then also the skill sheet, which looks to be right here. So what you would do is, so that's something that you can print out, and then is the intent, Chris, that you want folks to print this out, fill it out with pencil or pen, and then take a picture of it and upload it? Is that kind of the plan?
Correct, and go paperless and all that.
Okay. So really all you have to do with this is that once you have the skill sheet filled out, is just take your phone, just take a picture of the skill sheet, and then that'll just be a picture on your phone, and then you can log into Rescue Hub, go to the MyAssign training page, and then you can let's see. Then what you can do is upload that right into Rescue Hub. So if we go back to the task, first quarter SCBA training, we go down to the section here that says complete this task, to say, yep, I did this. And actually what I may do is, I would have actually hooked up a cord so that you could see the screen on my phone, but you can basically do this on your phone. So let's say that this was today.
Hold on, Jeff. Jeff, we got one question in the room.
Real quick, I just have a question on the task sheets. Do you have the ability to put these in as a fillable PDF rather than print the copy and then make copy and send a copy?
Right. For second quarter, we'll be going to that, but for first quarter, we didn't have enough
Time.
time.
I got you. I was just curious if that was something that we could do, because that was sure save trees and time.
Absolutely.
So, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, so that would be, I think that's something, Chris, that if you guys have like the full version of Adobe Acrobat, you could make a fillable PDF. That may be something that you can upload into Rescue Hub, but as far as natively within Rescue Hub, is that it would need to just be, like, it'll accept an image or any kind of a file uploaded into it, but we don't have, at this point, the ability to do a skill sheet just directly within Rescue Hub like this. All right, let's take a look here. So I'm just going to pull down that file here. Yeah, I don't really have anything here that looks like a skill sheet, but we'll put in a fake EMS certification. We'll just do that instead. So what you would do is check off the task, make sure the date is correct, and then upload the file, and then click submit, and that will upload it into the system. So that this is going to save in terms of having to email this to Chris, and then having to kind of check off to see, okay, who's uploaded it, who hasn't. They've got a really easy way for them to see all of those files that have been uploaded that are specifically related to SCBA training.
Jeff, we got one more question.
So if we're doing these as a crew and then putting in 3 skill sheets attached to it, it seems like those skill sheets wouldn't be attached to that person's training file. It would be attached to like a group training document. Is that the way it's going?
Yes, yeah, that's correct. So if you're doing this for your crew, is that probably the best thing to do probably the best and easiest way for that to happen is for the individuals to do it themselves. So you're not going to be able to upload 3 different documents kind of all in one swoop and then attach them to people individually. So that's probably the best thing to do is if it's something that needs to be uploaded and each person needs to have that, is just to have that each person do it individually using their own phone.
We do a lot of that.
So does that make sense as far as how to do that?
Firehouse recognizes each individual when it puts in, if you want to write a report on you, it shows just you. But on this one, they're saying each one of us has to put in, if you train class, you have to put a certificate in for each person instead of one crew, right? Whereas Firehouse took and extrapolated your name and gave you the credit or whatever.
Let's put an ownership back on it.
Yeah, yeah. Easy to train.
Okay, I was probably going to show one more thing and then just kind of open it up for whatever questions that you guys may have. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to ask about related to this?
Nope.
Okay.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Okay. The other thing that you may see within Rescue Hub is that Rescue Hub has the ability to send messages, to send emails through Rescue Hub. So it's probably going to be useful, especially on Chris's end managing training, is that he and as well as anyone else within the system has the ability to send emails. So, for example, if you have a requirement and Chris wants to, you've got 60 some people in the system, and let's say a dozen people still haven't completed a particular requirement, is that he can click a button within here and contact everyone that hasn't completed a particular requirement and send an email to those folks to say, hey, don't forget this is coming up. This is due by the end of March, or really for anything else that's training related. It just makes it really easy to contact folks throughout here. So, but what will happen is that this message will create that within Rescue Hub. It gets sent out as a regular email, so you'll see it right within your email inbox. But then also a copy of that is saved within Rescue Hub. So if you can reply directly to that email. So if you're on your phone, you can just hit reply on your phone, and that message will go back through Rescue Hub and will be delivered to whoever it is that you're replying to. But so you may see those messages come through if they're using that particular feature. But then also what you'll see as well is you'll see a little red marker on the kind of on the envelope icon up here that it's pretty simple as far as that goes, but it's just kind of an easy way to contact people about things that are related to training. So that's really about all I was going to cover. Are there questions that I can answer for you guys at this point?
Do you mind going over some of the user manuals and stuff that was created on the left-hand side there towards the bottom, the library of things that are going to be there, and also
Sure.
End of the month type reports or statistics that are incorporated in the system?
Okay, so you're talking about specifically the training catalog, or are you talking about the help section within Rescue Hub?
The category that we put user manuals, we put PDFs, basically stuff that's related to North Wacom.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So one of the things within Rescue Hub is that I think I kind of showed you before with one of the I think it was one of the it was actually both the EMS tasks that we were looking at, as well as the SCBA task that was assigned to you, is that they had additional training material that was attached to it, and those are attached, and all of those entries can actually be found within the training catalog. So for the most part, you might not necessarily need to go digging into the training catalog, because Rescue Hub will allow us to link that specific training material to the task when it's assigned to you. But all of anything that's been created is going to live in any of the training material that's been created, whether it be lesson plans, whether it be procedures, any of that kind of stuff that you guys have will be in this training catalog. And so you can search for you're looking for something on a particular topic, you can search for it up here. You've got all of these are some of them. I don't know how much Chris. I haven't looked to see how much Chris has gone through. Some of them may have information. There may be a few that still don't have any information behind them, but this is kind of where you would go to if you're looking up procedures on a particular thing, or this is basically just kind of a training repository of for you guys to use.
As you guys start using the system, this is going to grow, right? As the year goes on, as the years goes on.
The other page, as well as under documents, is that it looks like Chris has got some user manuals that are set up here. I haven't actually looked at this yet, so Chris, do you want to talk about how you set this up?
We just get a lot of new tools and equipment in our agency, and whenever we get those, there's always a training component that's involved with that. So one area to keep all these user manuals, if you ever need to go back and reference, like the gas detector, for example, is there's a whole MSA manual in the documents for gas detector. I put it under fire, put it under hazmat, but if you ever have questions about that, you can go back and reference it. So this is probably just a small pinch of what we have within our agency, but as we get new tools, and Captain Ward, this is where I can get your help. If we have user manuals or anything like that, especially in the PDF form, we can throw it on the program and it's there forever, and anybody can access it at any time.
Okay. And then the other thing is the reports section. So if you click on reports, is that you'll see several different reports that you can run. Probably the two that are going to be the ones that you're most likely to look at would be the individual training summary. And so what this is kind of a breakout by person of training that's been completed. So there's probably not going to be a ton of information here now. But
I put 3 in yesterday. Can you pull that up?
Actually, I'm going to just run this. So what you can do is you can get pretty specific with who.
Because I went to go reference it and edit it, and I couldn't find it.
Hey, Jeff, can you pull up somebody real quick? What was your first name?
It's for Delaney Warren.
Delaney Moore. Pull that up. Okay.
Would have been yesterday.
Rescue familiarization.
So I did a search on Delaney, and obviously there's not too much here at this point, but
Is that what you put in?
Yeah. Well, I chose administration because I couldn't find a better heading, but
Cool.
that is, yeah.
okay. So you can run it for people. You can also run it for particular groups as well. So if you want to see all the training for firefighters, captains, lieutenants, any of these things, you can run this particular report on whatever group that you want. So this is going to show this is basically just going to be a list of any training that anyone has taken. The other one is a requirements met report, and so this is going to show for all the training requirements that Chris has set up in the system. It'll show whether people have completed it or not. So especially when it gets towards the end of the quarter, pretty frequently people are going to want to see what requirements are still outstanding. So what you can do is under status here, you can choose only incomplete. So what that will do is that will show you everyone that has not completed particular requirement. So you can see here a lot of red X's. If we go in and show everything.
It's January 3rd. Come on.
Let's see here. Know that there's some things that you guys have already checked off. I just don't know if they're set up as training requirements or not. Looking for some green check marks. I'm sure there's in here somewhere. Well, it is the 3rd of January, I guess. So.
It's only the 3rd.
End of the quarter.
Half of us
All
haven't
right,
worked
nobody's
this year
done
yet.
anything. Right. But this makes it really easy, though, if you wanted to pull out just those things that are outstanding. So.
Jeff, does it have the ability, can you hear me okay?
I can, yep.
Does it have the ability to run a month-end statistical report that doesn't have names, it just shows?
What kind of statistics are you looking for?
Like if we want to run a month-end training report on number of training hours or completed modules or, you know, just statistical data overall.
Yeah, I know that we've got, this one may be kind of what you're looking for, so we can run a report that'll do total training hours over a time period. And I think what I might actually do is let's run I'm going to actually log out as John. We're actually going to go over to, I'm actually going to log into the Bellingham website so that we actually have some actual information that we can look at. So if we do training hours, we'll do, say, the month of December. So this particular one will give you a breakout of hours by training category. So this will show the training category, the total number of hours, the total number of people attending training, is what this is showing, and then the total number of is going to show down at the bottom.
Is that what you're
So you
looking
can
for?
set this up for over a date range. You could look at that. You could also narrow it to specific kinds of training. So if you want to pull out, let's say, just EMS training, you could do that. Or if you want to look at training by particular groups of people, so whether it's your firefighters, your captains, or any other group that you have set up within Rescue Hub, you could do that.
Okay, thanks.
Is that kind of what you're looking for?
Yeah, that is like a month-end summary. Yeah, that's fine. That's
Okay.
good information.
That's something you typically take to like a commissioner's meeting to whatnot.
Say it again.
Okay. So that's about all I've got. So what are there other questions?
Yes. No? Any other questions, you guys?
First ask a question.
Got one question back here, Jeff.
Okay.
Jeff, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Does your program, Rescue Hub, integrate with any other programs automatically?
In terms of like other other fire service,
Yeah, like other scheduling programs and things where your calendar can auto-populate into their program? Because what I see already is we're gonna end up with multiple calendars now. We tried
sort
to
of.
focus.
So we do have, you can use anything that's in Rescue Hub can be exported in what's called an iCalendar format. If you've not used iCalendar before, what it is, it's a way that you can click a link from within Rescue Hub and then have the calendar show up right on your phone. So for example, if you wanted to look at if you wanted to actually see what's on the calendar within Rescue Hub on your phone, we already have that capability to do that. So as far as bringing in calendars outside of Rescue Hub, that's not something that we've really taken a look at this point. So
What happens is you end up with multiple calendars and not everybody looks at all the calendars.
do you guys have a lot of different calendars that you're
Yeah.
working off of right now then?
Yes.
Mhm. So I'm just out of curiosity, where are those calendars? Are they in Outlook or are they in something else?
Well, there's one in CrewSense
Okay.
that we use, like for our scheduling, so it'd be nice if the training calendar could auto-populate the activity calendar in CrewSense, so
Sure.
everything would be in one.
Yeah, it'd be something I'd be willing at some point to take a look at. I think that I don't know whether if CrewSense, the iCalendar feature that we have it's a kind of a standard way to share calendar information. So if CrewSense will accept an iCalendar feed from someplace and display it, then it's very possible that you may be able to get a Rescue Hub calendar to show up in CrewSense. So I do know that some of our departments are using they've got some Outlook calendars in South County Fire down in Snohomish. So they will actually use that iCalendar feed to show a Rescue Hub calendar on like a desktop version of Outlook. So
Okay, we can talk about that some more, thanks.
yep.
What about entering training that's not put in by the
training division? Like an ad hoc, go out, do a
Yeah,
drill,
go out.
just put it in.
Yeah.
So Jeff, can you run through that, how we would put an ad hoc training in there?
Sure can. Yep.
That's kind of what I did.
So what we'll do, let me, I'm gonna go over to, I've got a test site that I'll enter this into, so.
And Chris, did you make that a company level option for these guys to be able to add ad hoc training?
I believe so.
Okay, so if you're entering ad hoc training, and I think that it's not showing up for you guys, it's probably just going to say new company event right here. So I'm logged in as myself, and I've got some extra permissions that you may not as a company officer. But if you click on new company event right on the calendar, then it's going to give you the ability to enter some ad hoc training right on the spot. So if this was, let's say that you guys are doing something with ground ladders, you're taking your crew out, do this for a couple hours.
That's where I
Choose
entered.
location. This is going to be we'll call this skills training. Then what you can do is put in yourself. Let's say that we're going to do Maddie and John. So let's say it's the three of us that are doing this, and then you might put in something in here that says ground ladders.
You can also upload any links to a website in there. You can upload a lesson plan format if you want to for that particular event.
Yeah, you can drop any kind of a file that you want to in here. But if you're just entering training, most likely you're just going to have some sort of a description of what it was that you were doing, and then once you click on create, that'll log it into the system. That won't, since that's not something that's tied to a specific training requirement. It's just it'll show up in the training record, but it won't show up under the requirements back report or anything like that.
So this, what you just did, I think would also be good if you guys do any kind of trainings, make sure you log it. And also, one thing I would like to also include in there is just community events that you may do. If you do a fire extinguisher training or whatever it is, just make sure you log that into the system as well. That way we can kind of keep track of that as well.
Is it your intent for them to use their new iPads out in the field for rescue?
Absolutely.
Anything else?
Yeah, that'd be a good use
A
for
little bit of
them.
round robin discussion right now, Jeff.
Okay.
Your officer phone to anything else, so you have all the tools to be able to log anything you need.
Do we have the ability to create forms in Rescue Hub at all? Or, like, me as a captain, when I create a form and I send it to another machine, say I want us to plan a specific way, can I, is there a way that's my way instead of yours, obviously you have access to do that, right? To upload PDFs and stuff, is there a way that I have access to do that?
You can either, are you talking about assigning that to somebody?
Yeah, like assigning, say I have a specific drill that I want somebody, like I watch a video, I like the way I want my lieutenants to see it, and go over that with their crew or something. Can I link a video, make a skill sheet, send it to Tony, and keep it? Each skill set.
Use ladder testing and nozzle testing. Do you want that kind of stuff put in this?
That's gonna be up to Chief Hollander at that point. I'd probably say no as of yet, but
That
maybe.
goes through inventory. And we're still using Firehouse for inventory right now.
So to get back to his question, so if he wanted to assign a training to his crew or a YouTube link or whatever, is that something, I'm not sure if he has access to do that yet, but is that something easily he can do?
Yeah. Jeff, we're talking about having a company officer assign training to one of his crew members. And if they have access to do that, would they need full administrator rights? Is there an option in there for partial administrator rights to assign training?
I think that's, let me just double check. Yeah, Chris, you could set that up if you want to. I think that we normally find that most most of our departments, they, at least initially, is that they have, that pretty much just whoever's the training officer for that particular, the training officer or administrative assistant, they'll do the setup on that. I think that, because I'm just trying to think if there is,
It looks like you could just set up a specific group.
yeah, let me take a look at that. Our suggestion with that is to kind of centralize and kind of manage that kind of from the chief level. So.
You guys have any other questions or? Seem pretty easy?
Yeah, I did it yesterday to get Delaney's probationary stuff in, and other than fishing around for the proper title, you know, to put it under. But I went to go edit it and I couldn't just find where it was, but it's there.
Feedback is a huge deal for us. We would love to hear back from you guys once you guys start using this. Give it a quarter. Give it the first quarter of the year, working with it on a daily basis, every shift. You want to get your guys to log in every day, see what's going on. I realize it's another calendar. I know it's definitely another calendar. I'm running a CrewSense calendar, I'm running an Outlook calendar, and I'm running a Target Solutions calendar / Rescue Hub calendar where I'm at now. It's definitely something we're looking at in the future, is be able to merge those two, but it's obviously talking to other companies to be able to get that stuff to merge together. Right now, our simplest feature is I can take that calendar, hit the download button, and it goes to my phone, my personal calendar, using that iCal feature. So that's a huge win for us when we did that. So we're making those improvements. Like I said, we want feedback. Give us feedback. There's some options in there. You can actually give feedback right to Jeff via the Rescue Hub site. We'd love your review on it as well.
So, yesterday, to recall those,
Yeah.
I expected to go to Wednesday on B shift there
Uh-huh.
and be able to, after I entered it in as a new company event, and I saved it, that's where I anticipated being able to find it.
To find it on the calendar.
In that square.
So we gotta make sure that we hit the calendar button to post on the calendar. Okay, because there's stuff you can post to individuals, and then there's stuff you can post on the calendar itself.
And
So,
where's that calendar button?
Jeff, can we go through that real quick? If I was just to hop on there and throw an event on there for next week,
Or I think for today.
or for today, making sure we hit that button so it shows up on the calendar.
Yeah, and I think that the way that we've got things set up right now is that for captain level permissions is that they're not going to be able to put something on the calendar.
Okay.
I think that's just kind of the feedback that we've had from some of our other agencies. So what you'll be able to do if you are entering training that you're doing for your crew is that you would use the company event button like we had before. That'll enter it into the system, but it won't put it onto the training calendar. So
I suppose it's just.
that may be something that I'm gonna have to look to see permission wise if that's something that you want to allow. If you want to allow any of the folks in the room to add things to the calendar, I'll have to double check to see permissions wise if that's something we can easily accommodate if that's something that you're looking for. So.
And that was just for quick reference,
Yeah.
right? If I, rather than running a report on finding those days, that's all I was thinking. But if we're able to run that report real quick, it's the same, I guess.
Yeah, any of those questions, we'll kind of use the chain of command, run it through Chris, and Chris can run it to Jeff, and he can figure out how to make this program work the best for you guys. And if that's something you guys want, I'm sure Jeff can take care of that for you. Anything else? Okay, well, I appreciate you letting me come up here and do this, and let Jeff come online with us and do this morning. We want to make this seamless for you. I realize it's another program, but hopefully this is the simple one to use. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back in and get into some other stuff.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks, Jeff. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
I'm a captain, but George Mark.
Here we go.
gonna see Kevin.
Nobody ever looked.
You're gonna see Kevin.
Yeah.
If we're able to put that in a square. This meeting goes longer. There's like, if it fills up like, if everybody.
Yeah, you can't go.
I think really release no idea.
Oh, was it early?
Part of their teacher contract, they get rid of them one day a week for a couple hours. I think Verdell is when they jump started.
I know, I can't, that's the problem.
What I do is pick out the days and we work.
I think we're gonna just. It seems like you're sitting there making
So, this is something for you to take a look at. Fire training academy. If you had the shifts, I'm not saying A shifts, it's gonna populate only A shifts.
What's what you got to put on the air?
How about that?
Like the training.
Yeah, that's already everything.
Whoa.
Yeah, so if I didn't want to see your training as a different company officer, I would say, well, then I should take it away or add to it.
Good to be here.
So that's the other part of that then.
Yeah.
It's a non-100 but being able to, when you come to the show up there.
So you could lay it out, you know, over station, like if I just want to see station 61 stuff, I click on station 61 stuff, and we'll talk about their station 61. Like I said, quick work through the system, work through the system, ask those questions, and
And
Well, I used it because I had Delaney, I'm like, I want to get her stuff. So that was my question to you, but on her skill sheet, like yesterday was, can we have a probationary?
There is a probationary heading in there. I kind of love no, not everything in your probationary file, or just protect yourself separately.
this, simply a lot of people still have it.
And now I chose the one, administration, but then you're not gonna know what it is unless you look at my notes.
Correct, yeah.
So,
Just for your first time doing that, man. Good job.
All right, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
Anything else, let us know. Perfect. Thank you so much.
I don't think I left anything here.
Yeah, McCoy's up there.
Thank you guys. Jeff?
Yeah, take care of it. I've been seeing you.
They actually got like a sign up process called like a sign up card. Yeah.
That's what I think they do.
It'd be really nice to have for him.
The only thing that like came out that made me go,
Hey man, how you doing?
it's going to.
Well, he makes it quite right.
Sit up for us.
Let's see as a category.
If you're near one of the rings.
I've done the process in the.
You okay, man? Yeah. Okay.
But then if
we're
you're
down
not
here.
close enough with the rigs.
Medical correspondence like a full. Where's the vital signs? Really, what's the now? We didn't get in there.
Yeah. But I concur with that.
And you had the day off.
Response readiness. But doing, racing in preschool for.
I had a lot of time off for holidays.
Oh.
There you go.
I was on shift.
Yeah. That was the only thing that made me go, wait.
You have an idea.
Keep asking me, oh,
Yeah. That's my
You're gonna artificially training.
Well, no, I love the bus. I just, but And that was your.
You know, I keep at it, I want to keep informed about it, because guys keep asking me, I said, well, don't call them, I said, I'll do that. I'll be there, when you guys know.
Great, so there is a drop down.
Then I try to find someone.
I think it's a community event.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you're talking better, I'll keep going.
Oh, really? Point where we can't find parts, and we were gonna get over in at 800 hours, we're gonna go, really, it was only.
That was the problem last time.
It was 500 hours.
And how much money you want to put in the over?
The way that I would do it is break it down, change the bills, it would, I believe it would show as a total. But that's where it I don't have
What kind of breakers you got in here?
The end of January, with all that stuff.
But it's wild as you go around.
Typically on the tenders, yeah.
That's gonna be the true best.
Age of that. They don't get a lot of.
It's gonna be a kind of a
Actually,
changing
most of their
thing.
wear and tear is the worst thing. For lack of use.
Most of it, yeah. Well, now I don't see the reports.
Oh, yeah. My gosh.
Yeah, I'm not worried. Yeah. A few more months.
Why didn't you go?
You got all of it.
Like literally, I'm not even gonna call that.
Yeah. Post button sends everything to the cloud.
May 29 will be here before you know it.
It's safe and close.
Only when it's all done.
No, you can just post as many times as you want.
Really?
Yep.
Remember last year?
Finish until you're all done.
Now it's always got to be posted.
Save on
A couple of months.
the save stages too.
Did they ever get the J-Tower working?
Nope.
Post.
Can't do it, huh?
I can't do it, but we have engineers.
You hit save.
It needs to be recertified every 3 years. He hadn't done it in 12 years.
Well, don't climb it, just get a truck next to it, we can move on, there's 20 cuts to that building.
And for us to add weight, we have to pay for an engineer to look at the tower and say, yes, it can handle the weight we're adding to it. But we can't even do that until he gets his
Guys, the people who need the information go to the cloud.
Okay.
Pick the information they want.
45 needs the.
All right, they go get it.
Yeah, that technology isn't working quite yet. We can't.
Cause they're.
Yeah, and that's the same
Pretty soon, we're gonna get to just sit down with the iPad.
You are now. So like yesterday on my call, she was the ambulance and most of my
At Station 69, it doesn't get big one, the houses are along the water apart.
I think you said if you walk around, you'll see the clear protection. And then you gotta get
Chris recommended we get that.
I mean, there's also some hospitals that are the administrator was lost. Even though we paid for we're gonna have our numbers in the boxes.
Yeah.
Because I tried to make it with this.
You know it's gonna be an LS.
The engine of the middle plant. And if you. Yes. Right. Why would it be invisible?
I was told because I didn't see that. Didn't get option up.
Well, you're getting too big.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Where's the fire report? Why are we not supposed to fire report?
So I noticed that, I have 3 years.
This is the reason for that.
So,
That wasn't, we have on the iPad. Log in on the big screen.
So when I go to the driveway, that's a question I have, is how am I meeting today? Having all this down. So that's what
Okay, guys, let's keep going.
And it's gonna compromise care.
I think so too.
Because I
Yeah, well, Christmas, man.
How am I supposed to pay off the trucks?
Your camper and your truck.
I don't want to talk
Your
about
wife to get a job.
My life is pretty much ending. We've been counting down that today. We were excited, but sad. Yeah.
So we're still broadcasting.
Oh, good. The sea shifters are out there somewhere. Okay, thank you, Chris. That was good. Good demonstration. I think Rescue Hub's going to be a good program for us and pretty user friendly. It looked pretty good. I like the modern stuff like that. Even an old guy like me can figure it out. So, really good job. There's a lot of information already done. Good. Good. So I'm going to go through my list here real quick. I sit here and I think about more things. I keep writing stuff down. We do have a busy year coming up in 2019, and I want to make sure that we're communicating with everybody as best we can throughout the year, so you guys are all caught up to speed on the events of the district, so that you get all the information that you need to get. A couple of things right off the bat here. For the 1st of January started our automatic aid response with the city of Bellingham, and it affects mostly Station 12 and 69. I've already heard both of those stations responding to the city on local calls, and DJ called me yesterday and brought something to my attention that we didn't come across yet, but it's in the works now, and that's a set of keys for the city, and they're going to need a set of keys for the areas down there as well, and things like that. So thanks for doing that, DJ. I appreciate it, and that is in the works as we speak, to make sure you guys, when you go into the city to a commercial occupancy, you get in as you need to get in. I think I heard you guys go out the other day.
69's already been into the city.
Yeah.
Where'd they go?
We went to Walgreens for an aid call, and we went to Borgata for
There was one today already, I believe.
Yep. Sunset.
Sunset.
We had nothing on.
We also had a car park tone out yesterday that 6 was the next closest in, but they weren't on the dispatch. You have,
Yeah, so from my desk, I still need to meet with the city of Bellingham and go through station orders with them. They're doing some things already, as you can see in dispatch, they're pulling closest units in, but I haven't even sat with them yet to determine what our needs are going to be, so that's coming up. I am going to go there.
so we're not part of the closest unit dispatch?
Well, in a sense. So what I mean by that is our CAD system has the ability to pull in the closest unit by way of AVL. And that feature is not fully enabled yet to where the CAD actually sees the AVL in the unit, runs around out there and automatically dispatches it based on its proximity to the call. The way it's set up now is based on station order, the way we set it up and the way they set it up and for everybody else. Eventually, AVL will take place based on what we tell it to do, and we'll tell it what units to pick up for what types of calls, but that's not all we need to say. So.
Chief, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So kind of on that note, it sounds like you answered this already, you're still kind of working out, are there going to be actual lines of demarcation as far as where 12 is going to go, how far the work is our first out expanding, or do you know that yet?
Yeah, so there's an annexed area around Station 12 now that belongs to the city.
Right.
And Station 12 will be responding into what was designated as a certain response area for Station 4 in that area. So that's part of what I still need to get with them on, is to determine what call types are we gonna be responding to and in what order we're gonna be responding into. So you guys may be first in on certain things in those areas based on the availability of Bellingham's units. So, does that kind of answer that?
Yeah, I think so. I guess I'm still, there's been some banter around the table at Station 12, and I guess some of us are curious just exactly how this auto-weighted thing is going to work as far as, is our range expanding? Are we gonna be second due on into 4's area more often, into 6's area more often? I guess just something, sounds like you're still working it out, so I'm not trying to get sweet blood from the stone here, but sure it'd be nice to know because it started January 1st, and it'd just be good to brief our guys and make sure that we're familiarizing ourselves with more of our, the Triple Creek area, which I'm obviously familiar with, but some guys may not be, the Alabama Hill, down off Electric, which is kind of our south area. We can view those areas really fast. I'm curious if that's gonna be what we're gonna be doing. If so, to train our people to be ready to go to those places, just kind of get map pages and all that.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, and you're right, all of those details still need to be worked out.
So
And we're working on that.
Okay.
And there is a training component to it, and Captain Jorgensen will be working with the City of Bellingham and us to do a lot of the hands-on skills training with their units and back and forth. The details of how the automatic aid stuff will fall into place we're still working on, but in a sense, true automatic aid is closest unit response.
Right.
We've already talked about things like not allowing our units to continually get sucked into the city and not have coverage where we need it in our own areas. We've talked about through that all the way, it's been 2 years in the making, with making sure that we don't deplete our resources all the time and continually get sucked into the city. So those are things that will come out in station order response list and also types of calls that we're going to be brought into. For instance, what we don't want to have happen is have 812 get brought in and deliver a patient and then be tapped again back into the city and, not being able to get back to their own area in a timely fashion. So we're working on the types of calls you guys are going to be responding to as well.
Is this going both ways?
It's going both ways.
Okay, so the question that I've heard at Station 12 is what is District 4 or North Whatcom getting in return for this?
Right, yeah, we've already made those changes.
Okay.
So you'll see the City of Bellingham now responding to working fires into the District 4's area. They will also be sending, if you guys are out of service, they're gonna kick in aid services as well to help us out, to back us up in that area. There was one particular unit that got changed. We had ladder 75, I believe, that was attached to a commercial working fire in District 4's area. That's now ladder 6 or ladder 5. So we made some of those minor changes as well. But now you're gonna get Bellingham into working fires in the District 4 area, a lot more than you guys ever did. So, and there'll be some more changes as we go along, but I know it's starting now. A lot of details.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin.
Just a quick question on mutual aid automatically then, as far as our units being out of service during the windstorm. Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't 61 at Point Roberts for most of the day, going to calls and not being able to cover our area? I'm gonna fix that as well.
That was actually a management call to send them out there. They had requested us and we talked about it.
We were only there about 3 hours.
Yeah, about actually losing that resource. And we decided that, we're gonna go ahead and let that happen this time. We almost didn't because it is very difficult on us when we lose a unit like that for several hours, but.
We didn't do it till after we did the callback. We denied it at the beginning, but then after we got staffing it was something. And it was only 3 hours, about 3.5 hours.
About 4 hours.
Yeah, until it went. It wasn't all day, and it was after we called back for staffing.
I know what you're saying, it's tough to lose a unit, especially for that many hours.
Well, I'm just saying the irony of it, that we're worried about helping the city of Bellingham out and using 812 on 3 calls in a row when we're up at Point Roberts, that doesn't help our district at all. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that as long as we're reciprocating with the city of Bellingham, they're always going to come and help us. They've got more units than we'll ever. So,
Crappy thing about it is it's a mutual aid agreement.
no, I agree with that. But
That's the fault side.
Yeah.
Keith and I were just talking, as we're talking about keys, we still don't have any Linden keys either.
Okay. Chief Holder, can you work on that? We have a set of keys for the city of London that we got.
The chief or the battalion, right?
The battalion, right, yeah. So we're gonna work on that as well. That, you know, that's been a topic for a while, we just haven't done it. We just haven't done it.
How many sets do we need, when are we gonna do it?
We can go through that. We'll talk about that later. You guys have suggestions on that, that's fine.
One for each eight agencies now.
We'll need a bigger box.
We get one of those prison guard keys.
I know we're gonna get 3 keys from Bellingham.
Just a big ring.
Yeah, it's a big green. I mean, that'll cap the lieutenant will have to carry.
We're gonna look like janitors.
You have to have a set thing on there. Anything else on automatic aid? Bellingham?
Yeah. Chief, just, Scott brought up a good point, and I think it's something we might, end up having to address eventually is the lock boxes itself. You know, they're great, Stanley or whatever brand they are, but they might not be big enough when we start adding 3 sets of keys in there. The other thing is I guess Bellingham's doing a fingerprint sweep, reader on their lock boxes now, and that might be something that, you know, once we start getting that many sets of keys in there, we might want to increase our security. Just because you never know, somebody leaves the department and is kind of upset and sees an engine parked at Hagen's and walks over there, and there goes the keys to the city of Linden, North Wacom, and Bellingham. Not that that's ever happened, but we talk about people stealing stuff out of rigs all over the United States now, and it's, I hate to be the news reporter for that. So it's just something to think about too for eventuality.
Okay. All right, next item, the master calendar is back on the server again. There were some adjustments made. The captains went through and reviewed the debit days and all that kind of stuff. And we made some revisions, and I posted it back on the server yesterday. So you can go back there and have a look at it and make sure that it looks right. And a lot of details, and there may be some more errors in there, I don't know, but I think it's pretty good now. As everybody's aware, Chief Hollander has decided he's going to retire. We may not let him go for a while. He's going to retire June 1st of this year, and so you'll see very, very soon here the recruitment process for his position. We need to, it takes a while to get a person in a new position, so be looking for that. And my goal would be to get somebody in here before June 1st so that there's an overlap, so that the Chief Hollander has the ability to pass along as much information to this new person as possible. And then when he's retired, hopefully we'll have that person good to go. So, Jay?
There's been some talk lately about whether it's 1 person who fills spot or 2. What's the direction of the department? Are we going to hire a division chief or maintenance or?
That's a great question. So his position has been moved into our budget under public education now, or prevention, I'm sorry, prevention division. He used to be under facilities, and our goal in our agency now is to kind of beef up our prevention side of what we do, because it's really a vital part. And it's going to be a division chief, sworn fire marshal type position that is going to be a credential type position. Years ago, Jim Bleeker was here for a while, and I know he was credentialed in a lot of ways as far as a sworn fire marshal. And I think, was he a plans examiner and investigator?
Yes.
Definitely an investigator,
Yeah. So that's the type of position that we're going to fill. We would like to have our own investigator here. in our department to do our investigations, and we have a true fire marshal. And Chief Hollander has done such a wonderful job over the years since Jim Bleeker has left, just picking all those duties up, and thank you for all that. I mean, that's a lot. I remember that when Bleeker left, I believe the way that it went, that Chief Field just said, "Henry, congratulations, you're now our fire marshal."
That's about how it went.
Yeah, and that's a lot to take on, a lot of responsibility. So yes, that position is going to be more a credential position moving forward. And I think the second part of your question was, it would be a two-person team or one. The commissioners had made a suggestion that they want to see the prevention division also have a second person on it. And we can't afford that right now. I mean, it's not in our budget to have two positions in that division. So maybe someday we'll get a bigger prevention division. It's really unknown right now. But we're going to fill that position soon.
So it's essentially a division chief position for the battalion rotation and fire marshal stuff.
That is correct. Very similar to what he does now, but the new position will be somebody that has the certifications and that kind of thing, but it'll be a division chief.
And will they have the enforcement over on the east side and not just Blaine?
You know what, we still have the county, when we're in rural areas outside of the city limits that we rely on, so. Yeah.
Okay.
But we're gonna do some different things with pre-fire planning and the prevention side of our department that we really need to get after. And right now, Chief Hollander is working with Image Trend to try to get that part of the department up and running from prevention. So some changes coming up. Yeah, there's been their hand.
Chief, who's gonna, how is the rest of his pot gonna be divvied out?
So when Chief Burnett had a vision about his position a couple of years ago, he had suggested possibly hiring a civilian type of a person to take care of facilities. You know, to come in and do the minor fixes in all of our stations and that kind of thing. And I think that's still a good vision. Quite honestly, I haven't dug that deep into it. You know, this is day 2 for me, and it's in the planning process. Is kind of back there somewhere. But along with that, we have budgeted this year to do a master plan, to bring in an organization to give us a hand in making a master plan for our department. And it's kind of dovetailing into that, meaning that if our department decides to sell a few fire stations, if you will, we'll have less to maintain out there, and then it'll be a little bit more affordable to have a civilian person come in and help us. We won't have as many facilities to maintain, this is what I'm saying. But right now, over the years, what's happened is that Chief Hollander has just absorbed a lot of those duties because he's so good at it. And we look at him and go, hey, do you mind going over and doing this? And he does it. And he takes care of all of these things, including fleet maintenance and everything else. So we're going to try to divide that up a little bit to make it more manageable for people.
So in other words, you're divided up into those in the room?
I don't think so. I don't see it happening that way. I mean, the crews already mow lawns and stuff out there. I can't imagine asking the crews to go out and paint and fix plumbing and electrical and I mean
And I get that. What I'm looking at more is like, you know, pager maintenance, radios, FARs, communications. I mean, we just keep adding on to that list as far as what he's been doing over the past years.
he does a lot.
Sounds like you know the essential job.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Those posts?
That's how you get shit done.
That's right.
Congratulations. Billy officially turning in my resignation. I'm retiring today.
It worked, yeah.
I just want to make sure that, you know, again, June's going to come and kick us in the face here fast.
Yeah.
And rather than him going, okay, it's May 30th and I'm leaving tomorrow and nobody knows anything about pagers or you know, the radio contacts or, you know, those you know, some of those important ancillary stuff that you know, keep us up and running.
So I've developed a list, which is population's getting larger. And so I'll be sharing that soon, get scheduled for that.
I'm just gonna give it to Schmidt.
So the new
I'm
prevention
gonna
marshal
ask the
person
board.
is not gonna take any of that on, like you do? The new prevention marshal we just talked about?
I think that's in the plan. I think it's to focus on fire prevention and investigation, the time check and mitigation. Mitigation is huge, because that's one of the things that brings us money. And there's a lot of work in mitigation.
So you're absolutely right. He does a lot of stuff, and quite honestly, I don't even know what he does. I don't know everything that he does. He does so many things during the day. We don't work right next to each other, so the things that he does every day, I really don't know. But our goal is to get a new person in that division and to figure out what to do with the rest of the chores.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
But what I don't wanna do is overtask everybody, you know, because I don't think that's the right thing to do. So. All right, next thing is the operations, the temporary operations position. I'm assuming everybody saw the posting that I put out yesterday. You may not have seen it just yet. But if anybody's interested, please let me know by the 15th. And I'd be more than happy to sit down with you and talk to you about the position and everything that goes on there. It's pretty exciting, really, to have that opportunity to open up to the department to say, hey, we need some help in operations for a little while in the interim. If anybody's interested in doing that, I think it's really a good opportunity for our people to get a taste of what that's like and to look at the department from a different way. So, again, the 15th, I'd really like to get somebody in there by the end of the month, I hope. There'll be some. When I get the interest people in, I'll sit down with them and talk to them individually and see what their desires are, and just an informal interview process, and then we'll make a selection, we'll be off and running. Okay? So, have a look at that. We'd love to have some interested people come in and take a shot at it. Any questions on that? Okay. All right. Lieutenant promotional, that is in the works now, and we have quite a few applicants, I think, Chris, right?
6 applicants.
We have six people that are gonna go through the testing process. I think that's fantastic.
Take that back, 7 applicants.
7. Today's the deadline, so if you know anybody that hasn't gotten their letter in yet and still is interested, by the end of business, it'll be closed today. So please encourage those folks that haven't gotten in yet to come and test. We'd love to have them. And I'm gonna jump down to another line here that kind of goes, oh, you have a question on it? Yeah.
Is it same type of test run in-house, or are we bringing somebody in to do it?
In-house.
In-house.
Yep, in-house testing.
Ran by, overseen by training?
Yeah, training operations. When we do get our operations temp position filled, that person will be part of that process as well. So the operations training, and then jumping down here, what I was gonna say is Kelly is going to be doing a lot more HR functions now this year. She's being moved over to the admin building, for those of you that don't know that already. She's gonna be in the admin building very soon. And she's also gonna be very involved in the HR side of this lieutenant's promotional, meaning she's gonna help with the organization of it, not developing the test itself, that's gonna be through training, but the organizational side of it, the scheduling and more of the details of the process. So you're gonna see her a lot more over at the admin building coming up. She's not gonna be over there permanently until we get the training division moved out to building D, and that's gonna happen by the end of January. So there's some changes coming up, and I'm really excited for it. There's a lot of HR functions that we deal with pretty much on a daily basis that, quite honestly, everybody's just kind of pitched in to do. Training divisions, operations, the fire chief, the finance department. We've all just kind of done things over the years the best we could. So now we've decided that Kelly's going to be focused more on the HR side of our department, and it's going to be good to have her there because HR is an ever-changing thing, and to keep up with it is kind of tough when we individually don't do it every day. So she's going to be involved with Chris right away, starting Monday on the lieutenant stuff and a whole bunch of other things we have going on. for that coming very soon. Any questions on that? All right. I'm gonna give this piece of it over to Chief Hollander on Image Trend, if you can just update us on how we're doing with Image Trend.
Well, like a big surprise, January 1st rolled around and surprised we got to make the switch. I got a lot of calls on the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd. I've kind of been going out yesterday and today, meeting with the crews, because there's really no way to answer your questions on the phone. And we've been pretty successful. We had good luck here with Delaney and Mike yesterday, and Ray and his crew, and DJ, we got through him, and Leslie was up at 12. So I'll be doing that again next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, until everybody's comfortable with how the program's going. I don't have the answers to all your questions, but I am getting your questions, which is great. When you run into issues, just jot them down in an email so I can meet with the Image Trend representative and get those questions answered. Again, we're meeting today at 2:30. I expect that meeting to go 3 or 4 hours on the questions that I have on Image Trend, because it's new to all of us. The difference is, so you understand, Firehouse, we had full control. It was just for our department. We could assign anybody to any category. We had all the security setting adjustments. We could gray out, highlight, use any of the modules we want. Now it's a countywide program, and it's managed by Jeremy, who's an IT guy, downtown Bellingham. So, for example, just to get Beruya access to the occupancy module took me a day and a half, because I have to work that through the whole county. So right now, we only have access to incidents. That's really about it. There's a rig check component to Image Trend that works really well. We don't have access to that yet. So I have probably more questions than I have answers. The most important thing right now is that we're no longer using Firehouse to put in incidents, and we're no longer using Firehouse Scheduler. So you don't have to keep either of those. You don't have to use those anymore. Medical calls we're putting in on the iPad. Fire calls I don't have an answer for, but it's temporarily suggested to do that at your workstation when you get back. My understanding is you can do it on the iPad, but I need some clarification on that specific question. The biggest thing we learned so far yesterday was the post button. That's the most important button, I think, on the whole iPad. Because when you collect that data, it never leaves that iPad unless you hit post. You hit post, it sends it up to the cloud, then the hospital has access, the doctors, the billing company. So as you're entering your calls and you get that 95 and higher validation score, please hit the post button. It doesn't matter how many times you hit it. It will never overwrite anything that's up there. It will only fill empty boxes. So it's kind of like the CAD download. You can CAD download as many times as you want, and you can post. So if you get a BLS call, get all the data you can, get them to the hospital. There's no paper handoff. I met with the hospital yesterday. You just tell them the critical things you have on your patient, which shouldn't be much on BLS. And they take the patient, and then when you hit post, medical records has access to that file, but nothing will be in the emergency. There'll be no more paperwork in the emergency room, for now.
So no more face
That may
sheets?
change tomorrow.
What about face sheets?
Don't need face sheets anymore.
So the only thing we've done though, in the last, because we had a couple of transports yesterday, is we've collected the face sheet from the hospital to keep the face sheet. We're sending it down to Chris, just in case something gets screwed up, but.
That's what we did too.
Yeah,
And that's fine.
Just temporarily,
Yep,
until we get
just
the streets
temporarily.
out, to make sure that nothing gets lost.
So there's two functions that currently don't work. The automatic CrewSense download function, which was originally scheduled to be looked at on January 15th. I had some conversations yesterday, and they're promising me now it'll be done by tomorrow. And the other one, that'd be the wrong one. The other one is the upload and downloads to the medics. It does work, but it actually causes a problem with our NFIRS export. So they're asking us not to upload or download any files unless it's interagency. So if you wanted to transfer from 861 because 863 is doing the transport, you could upload it and transport it interagency, but please don't upload or download any other agency into our agency.
Which is why we have to do paper spreadsheets right now.
We bring us to ALS calls. Yeah, we have nothing currently to give the medics on a patient, and so we may still, for a few days, have to use a paper. If you see it's going to be an ALS call, you might want to jot down those vitals on a form.
Or just, having not used it yet and just sitting around with some round tables and discussing, I concur with comments that have been made that the step away from paper and the focus on this is detracting from the incident itself. You know, if I'm sitting there holding a pad and trying to fat finger A-L-I-C-E, you know, as I'm typing someone's name in, am I truly focused on scene safety? Am I focused in on, you know, what's going on in the incident and picking up on the critical clues?
I don't think it's any different than writing it on a piece
That's
of
pretty damn easy.
It was for me yesterday, because I'm trying to manage a scribe sheet for the medics and trying to get whatever I can onto the iPad.
I don't do the iPad with the ALS anymore. Until they can get the upload done, I'm doing scribe sheet, and I can come back and do the report on the iPad, just because you can't do those three things. You're perfectly right, Mike. You can't do iPad, scribe, and make sure that the crew's managing the patient properly, you know.
Except that, with that, Van Dyken passed off to Comp. I worked with Comp on Sunday, and Van Dyken was telling David that a couple of the most important things for us to do is activate that vitals and exam buttons. That way we get the timestamp. Then we go back in and edit those and add to them. But if we wait, if we don't do that on an ALS.
Well, you don't timestamp them on a form, right? Well, you just kind of, you put your time in.
Well, right, but that gives it.
All of those things will work. All of those things will work. There's nothing that won't work that you just talked about. I told you, I need a couple more days to iron out some more issues, and hopefully by early next week, a lot of these things will be resolved. I apologize for that. They knew we were going, and Ferndale has switched, and, Lummi Island. They're having no problems at Lummi Island currently using iPads. They also haven't had to call you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Stephen.
Is there any written training information or presentations that we can have access to? Both my firefighter and I were gone during the formal presentation of it, and trying to glean that training from other crews.
There's training in it. Image Training has a library of training, just like Rescue Now does.
Okay.
You go into the training program, but I'll be going around and meeting with everybody next week. So that seems to work pretty well. John?
One of the questions that keeps coming up is the whole data planning issue. Can you talk a little bit about that, like why they don't have data plans?
Where you don't need data plans?
Right.
So the hotspots are actually, your ambulances are hotspots. So you have connectivity from your iPad to your hotspot in your ambulance, and somewhere around 50 to 100 feet in a circle of that. Once you have the report downloaded from CAD, you don't need internet anymore. You can fill the whole thing out. The only time you need internet is when you're posting or uploading or downloading from CAD.
Or transferring.
I don't know the answer to that one.
I was gonna transfer if you don't have.
Well, I've already used the transfer function, and it needs to be connected.
Okay.
I was one of the people that caused
You're not,
it to get it.
we're not supposed to be using the transfer.
That was before we knew that.
That's correct.
That's
You
before I
told me
told
that
you not to use the
yesterday.
transfer. I tell you, there's a lot more questions than I have answers to. I'm doing the best I can. And it's gonna be a rough couple of weeks, but I think things will settle down. And once the transfer to the medic part works, it'll be great, and then we can get rid of all that.
And again, I'm just coming in on the tail end of this, but like one of the comments I heard this morning is that these have hotspots. Why? But it sounds like they're locked and not accessible. Why?
I think it costs money, just to finance it.
I thought we had unlimited data plan.
No, but if you activate hotspot, it's another $10 a month.
The other thing that will help on the pad, is to use the jot spot or whatever that thing is called, a little notepad on the side. And I've done it both ways with the little rubber pen. I guess we learned these things or whatever, or your finger, it still works either way, but you keep those notes in there the whole entire time while you're doing it, instead of, so you can show the medics that part of the scribe sheet too. So, just a quick thought, because if you're having trouble finding the vitals page or whatever, you can still get everything the guy's writing it down, just write it down on your finger on that pad and save it in there. And I just transferred the information back over to where we did that. The only thing is not against the time, obviously.
You said they're set up to link to the ambulance, or they set up to link to the engines yet?
The engines have been turned off.
I never turned the engines up.
Engine 69, I talked about that yesterday with you. The engine used to be turned on and it's not available anymore.
Okay, but I didn't do that.
Somebody.
Engine 61 is on. I know that.
Engine 69 is off.
Engine 12 is on.
That's what I called you.
Yeah, 61's fixed. It's on. We had it yesterday.
You know, engine 63 hooks up?
I never used it.
Okay. All right. Right now, because we're just doing the ECPRs for 8 calls, just focusing on the boxes.
Adam had a question first, Steve.
So we can't transfer the medics right now, but what if like when we post or whatever, do they have access to the cloud then for a call that way?
Well, I can't answer that question because I don't know what their access levels are. I don't have any control over the medic access. Again, that's all, it's so different now that we're kind of down 2 steps and everything we want or need or ask, we have to go to somebody else now. And they don't get back to me for like 4 hours or 5 hours when I ask a question. That was a discussion we had yesterday, that hopefully is fixed today.
Sean's been holding his hand for a while.
So long as, I just have the HIPAA forms. Did we come up with a plan?
I was told yesterday that it's not a requirement to leave it. So you sign the HIPAA release, and we don't have to leave one. However, having said that, I think we should print out a bunch of HIPAA forms, non-signable forms, and have those in the rig, so if somebody says, I'd like a hard copy, then you can have one. But it is not a requirement.
You know as well as I do, you're gonna get that one guy that's gonna go, what's this thing I'm signing?
That I'm signing, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is what you're signing.
And they can refuse to sign it.
Yeah, oh yeah, I could realize that.
There's an option for that.
Thanks.
I know there's a lot of questions and a lot of unknown, and it's going to evolve over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be my primary focus.
Is there a way that you could get us the general Wi-Fi password for the hospital, so that when we get to the hospital, that is accessible?
When it was unlocked.
Is it unlocked?
Yeah, if you go to guest, we just logged, it went right in, we got all the way back to room 35 and it logged us in automatically.
So those are safe? I mean, we're not worried about people stealing information?
It's secure.
How is it secure? If it's open, I could go in there with my scam reader and.
Yeah.
That's by definition not secure, if you can get on without a password.
Yeah, the one at the hospital was unsecured.
Right, so that's like the guest one for people in the waiting room.
That's what we used yesterday.
So we should probably not do that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Listening to some of the issues that are coming up here, I can only stress that I think it's in our best interest. I mean, Bellingham has Verizon. If those are LTE capable, it's not that much more expensive. Why not? Because if we have hotspots go out on rigs, things come up, Wi-Fi dies. But if we have that LTE network, that's just one more way for us to be able to transfer our data efficiently. And it can't be that much more a month to activate those. And it's also secure.
It's one of those tools we always have with us.
So it's I think something we as a department should put some thought into is.
We're only talking about 4 phones.
Or iPads.
Or 4 iPads.
And are they iPad Pros? Is that what they are?
Your Series 600, I don't
Okay,
think they're not Wi-Fi, they're not cell phone capable?
They can't have a data plan?
Well, at least activate the hotspots then on the phones. I mean, it's $40 a month to have.
So if we do that, if we put a
Something to think about,
hotspot on their office phone, that would kind of solve that issue.
I guess if it becomes an issue of not have, what I've been told is you don't need Wi-Fi to run the program. So if we're seeing issues where there's functions of the program that need Wi-Fi, then that's different than what I'm being told. Then we should evaluate how to set up different hotspots or buy different iPads. But again, it's kind of a learning curve.
Like you said, we're stumbling through this.
I'm stumbling through with the information
Like
they
logging
gave
into
me.
the hospital and the guest.
Yeah. Weren't you also talking about using the Rescue Hub on the pad for doing training and stuff?
I wasn't.
Well, there was discussion of that, of interim training of that sort. You're gonna need some kind of connection there too.
I don't know why we'd ever do that.
Yeah, you got connection in the station. You got connection in the ambulance, you got connection in the fire truck. Supposed to, you don't. And so.
I can't see a critical need of veteran training on the field.
No.
Where there's no wireless.
Not just over here. But
Yeah.
no, where they could use it.
We talked about that as well yesterday.
And then I just want to rewind to one other sideways point, is the HIPAA component. If we do continue to have one to be able to hand out, not only is it, I mean, we have to do a different form. Because if there's a blank signature line.
You just use it's the backside.
Yes, the back.
It's the backside, not the
Okay.
front side of the
Yeah,
sign.
just form would not be
Something to
signed.
hand out.
Yeah, because
It's just-
everybody has them, and if they sign it and they ask for a copy, so there you go.
Okay, good.
And it doesn't require a signature or anything, it's just that. It's just like when you go to the doctor now, you sign a HIPAA release on the little pad.
They don't give you one.
Right.
Some do, some don't.
Right.
But they have them there.
What I didn't want to have happen is I didn't want to give the form that we have now that
No,
has
because it
signature
requires a
lines on it,
signature.
but
Right.
no name, and have on one hand it's signed, or we always sign the pad, but it's not signed on this piece of paper, and I'm just turning it over to that.
I'm kind of amazed that Bellingham's been using it for a year and we have all these issues.
Yeah.
So,
It might be appropriate to address the, other languages on the HIPAA at this point again too.
we talked about that. On my list, I can tell you, like, it doesn't accept Canadian postal codes. I have all of this stuff that I want to talk about.
No, I mean, for us, if we're providing a HIPAA,
Yeah.
that we, other languages also use.
Yeah, that's on the list. Currently, ImageTrend doesn't have any other language available.
Yeah, the most common ones.
Just one other quick thing on there, if you generate the SOAP format that's on there, remember you have to go in and edit part of that, because it doesn't give you a chief complaint and some of those other things, and disposition and some of that stuff. So if you've been in contact with a medic and you pass that on to do an EKG or something like that, and you don't put it in the data, it doesn't put it in the data on the SOAP format. So you have to add, medic 45 arrived on scene, did a 12 lead EKG, cleared the patient, for BLS transfer.
Okay, you gotta read the narrative.
Gotta read the narrative.
Then you gotta massage it.
And you gotta make sure you hit save, because when you put that in there and you don't hit save, and you go back to the station, you go to download it, and you look at your narrative, everything you typed is not in there, because you didn't save the data that was in there, so. you
Yeah,
cut that
save and
twice.
post buttons are on the upper left-hand corner.
So make sure you hit your save continuously. If somebody types, hit save, hit save, hit save, because it saves it down in that iPad, and then you can.
The other thing I'm being told is if you log into it in the morning, that it logs you out after a certain amount of time. It doesn't leave you on there all day. Anybody have any idea how much time that is?
Well, we had that call we had a call last night, and then we had one this morning, and we were logged out this morning, so I don't.
So that's a question we're working on. And then, currently, only the people that write the report have access to the report, the authors. So that's another question. We need to open that up so that everybody has access to everybody's calls. And so, and that's just what I remember from what I've jotted down. A lot of questions. Be patient. I'll do the best I can, and we'll work our way through it. In a couple of weeks, it'll be a lot better.
Say that again, the author only, say that?
There's certain people that it's limiting the access to the reports on.
So if I start the report on the iPad, on the
And you're the author.
EMS run, I'm the author, then we get back and Aaron wants to do the report, he has to log in as me?
Well, if he logs in some instances, they don't have access to that report.
They don't get to see the stuff you put in.
It's blank.
That's why.
So if they
it's-
logged in as me, they could.
If it's Aaron's patient, then Aaron should sign into the iPad.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't been doing it. We just keep one person in there all day yesterday, and it worked fine.
Need one person signed in all day? Yeah.
No matter who the patient person was.
But if they were to go back and do it on the workstation, then they have to log in as that person.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Chief, is there no longer an OC and a QC on these?
Correct. There'll only be a QC.
And who does the QC?
That is a question I have. That process I'm going through this afternoon with Aaron. I just got that we're getting most of the call in and we're uploading. Now I've got to ask all those other questions. How does QC work? How does billing work? And so this afternoon, most of the time we're going to spend is going through those steps, and then I'll sit down with the captains and show you how on your workstation you can find the calls that you need to quality.
Thank you for your patience. I know change is difficult. Chief Hollander, you're a patient man.
I wasn't yesterday.
And there's a lot of details to it, and I appreciate you doing all that. 12 months down the road, we'll look back and this will be normal for us. This will be,
3 weeks, it'll be better.
I was giving it 12 months.
But thanks. Definitely by June 1, I'll see an improvement.
So far, it's a time saver, honestly.
Yeah.
Now you can almost do a report before you even get to the call.
And I did, and then even coming back in the station, I had actually did our report because it was false medical alert alarm, but by the time I got into the station, I could roll in and I was hitting post and it was done. My guys didn't need to test it.
Down and ready for another one.
Yep.
There's no faxing, there's no paging,
Nothing.
so
Yeah,
all that
that's
stuff's
great.
been eliminated. So it really, when you get comfortable with it and we get the bugs worked out, it'll be great.
The end result, I think, is gonna be good.
And if it turns out we need more Wi-Fi, we'll definitely get it. It's
Yeah.
just, the way I was told is we don't need it, so.
Did someone say where the stylus was coming?
Yes.
There's been a request for a box of rubber tip points, I haven't dealt with it
I
yet.
think I emailed you, texted you.
It's in my, and that's kind of slid down my priority list, because I've had crisis.
Don't get the one Chris sent you. when I say.
And they work all right.
Okay. These little rubber tip beds, we find them everywhere now. Just pick them up and you see them.
So
Your idea?
next thing here, thank you, Chief Holger. I was gonna talk to you guys real quickly about, another, process that we've already been doing now for several months, but, CrewSense and Scheduler. So now the Firehouse Scheduler is not being used anymore. CrewSense is gonna be our payroll, and it communicates directly with Bias, which is our new payroll software. So it's gonna be really critical on a daily basis that CrewSense schedule is correct. It has to be correct. You have to make sure that all your people are accounted for on a daily basis when it comes to sick leave, vacations, all of that kind of thing. It's imperative that that's correct every day, because at the end of the month, we'll only now be running reports from CrewSense, not Firehouse, because we lose it. Yeah.
Okay, how do we want to handle three-way trades? Because CrewSense will screw up three-way trades. Do we want to just delete that?
Let's look into that in a different time here instead of in this meeting, but I know I've heard you guys talk about that before, and I'm not sure if I have a good answer, really. What I would say, Sean, you're very in tune, I know all 40 captains are in tune with the three-way trade process. On CrewSense itself, I have found that they have a really good tutorial that's embedded in CrewSense that you could go to. If you can't find the topic that suits your needs in that particular instance, like I said, I have found that they've been very responsive to me personally. I can send them a ticket with a question, and within a pretty short time I get an answer, and they give me a screenshot of exactly how to fill in a field. So try that, see if you can get some success there. If not, we can always call the company and say, hey, we have this situation. I'm sure that other agencies have dealt with this in some fashion before. But try that. If you don't get any success, let me know.
Okay.
The other thing about that is the volunteers. So Dale and Bud are here today. The way that the volunteer time is going to be accounted for, historically the captains have gotten those timesheets, and you guys put them in the Firehouse if they respond as a volunteer unit out there. The only change now is that you're going to put them into CrewSense for their time instead of Firehouse. There's a miscellaneous box on the home page of Firehouse. That's where you put them in. We need to make sure that we fill their profiles in correctly, so that when you put in Dale Rutgers 3 hours, that it accounts for him as a stipend for 3 hours. And CrewSense will do that, it's just not set up yet. We're in the process of doing that. So you guys don't do anything different. Fax your timesheets in the way you have. Training, same thing. Training will take that paper timesheet for the volunteer, enter them into CrewSense under their training hours, along with Rescue Hub for their actual training events. And then we'll be able to count for their stipend through CrewSense that way. And it will just populate a report at the end of the month with the members on there. So, yeah.
Are all volunteers in CrewSense?
Not yet. We're still setting them up.
All right, so that's gotta be done then.
Since we're still talking about CrewSense a little bit, to back up about the daily entries as far as vacation and sick and time off.
Right.
Who is the end responsibility for that? Is that me for my company, or is that bump up to him for the shift, or where does?
Who's doing it now? Like on a daily basis, who is looking at CrewSense and saying, yep, that looks good?
Whoever the on-duty captain is, yeah.
Okay, and then, so as we fill in for overtime and stuff, then that would be the overtime lieutenant doing that?
Who's ever in charge that day. So if you have a captain on duty, they'd be ultimately
But if there's no captain on duty,
so that it would be the person filling that shift.
the person at station 63?
Though typically the way we've done it shouldn't change with CrewSense being the focal point.
No, because we've been tracking vacation hours really great.
Well, I can't attest to that, but like, if I'm not working a C shift day and one of the other captains isn't on, Adam does it for C shift.
But no senior officer.
But no, it's no senior, it's just who's trained to do it.
Bean does one.
Bean does D shift, and, but if it's one of those very rare instances, let's say that I'm being relieved by Tony, and none of those 8 people are on, I pre-schedule. I'll look the next day and say, Tony, I've already scheduled the, because you could with
That's great,
Cruces.
everyone's doing that, and we're all on the same page, because I wouldn't want to be the one that, misses a timesheet issue.
Yeah.
Not knowing I was supposed to.
And, and another thing about this too is that it's imperative that the individual firefighter,
Yes.
if they have access to their own schedule, they should be looking at that, knowing, hey, this isn't right, I worked yesterday and I'm not on there. So
Same thing with the time
they
sheet.
should catch errors as well. The individual worker should be able to know what their schedule is, and if it's wrong, they can bring that up and you guys can fix it.
That'll be a culture change, because not a lot of people, I know when I work, I don't always check CrewSense to see when I work, because it turns out it's the same repeating process.
Well, it'd be, from you guys, from the company officers,
Right, that's what
just
I
have a
said,
chat with your
culture change.
firefighters and say, hey, guys, you have a mobile app, this is what we're using now for your accountability. Make sure it looks right to you, if you worked an overtime shift, look at it, make sure that it got on CrewSense appropriately. So now we have a whole bunch of eyes on their individual schedules, and then the captains will be ultimately responsible.
That'll be a bit of a change,
Chief, are we-
because not everyone's looking at that.
Are we still using, still printing green timesheets for now?
For now. Yep, for now we are. That's going to be our phase out process. We're hanging on to that right now, just to make sure that we have something to go back on and say, yep, it's working. There's another feature of CrewSense that we're going to enable eventually as well, and that is the accruals. So vacation and sick leave hours, it does that. We have to load all the information into it to make it work right, so that the individual, when they log into their own account, will be able to see what their banks are. They'll be able to see their sick leave and their vacation hours and everything else. Then when you guys enter them in as time off, then it automatically deducts, and it accrues correctly month to month as well. So it does all those things. We haven't gotten all that in there, so right now we're using timesheets to keep track of accruals, but eventually it'll be there.
And the flip side of that, as far as using a timesheet, then like Captain Ward's point, and I concur, we're on the same boat, that like these double shift rates, it seems to me to utilize the green timesheet to identify systemic problems and sort of do CrewSense exactly what transpired every time, and then that way we can point out by comparing with the green sheets, and hopefully Chris finds it. And when she asked me, well, why Ward says he has 24 hours on this day, well, that's because I worked for him, but Ray worked for me. But if we do it literally, then we can find all of the potential problems in CrewSense by, if it is a double trade, I think we should put them in as a double trade.
Well, there might be ways that, like Chief said, there might be a way that CrewSense wants it done that we're not doing. Because right now, if we do it between the three of us, and I'm supposed to trade with Davidson, but I can't do it, you trade, I trade with you, it gives you that you work 24 hours and me that I work 24 hours.
Right, and you were the one that's supposed to get paid.
Yeah,
But,
and so it creates a problem with the timesheet.
yeah, but I don't believe that's probably the only problem. I think there are other issues. So it seems like since we're gonna continue to use those as a reconciliation for at least the time being, put everything in literally, because there's probably other problems that we have to encounter.
Yeah, I don't know if that, as long as the auditor's not looking at the timesheets after, because that's the other problem, is that the auditor's ones have been looking at the timesheets, and if we're showing, remember way back when, if we're showing trades on the timesheet, is it FLSA, are we counting those hours? It created an issue with the auditor as far as are they accountable hours. So that's why we quit doing that.
The timesheets right now, what's important on the timesheet on the trade is that it shows the hours of the person that was supposed to be there, right? So that's the main thing, because it deducts L&I contributions and everything else automatically through that timesheet. So that's really the key component. Who's working for that person really doesn't matter. It's the 24-hour period that belongs to that person. So eventually we'll phase those out. CrewSense has a great report program that runs timesheets in its own way that shows all of that, but it's just not all set up yet. But look, if you find something, let me know on that three-way trade, because I know the answer. Yeah.
So the the captains or the 8 are responsible to get into crew sets.
Yeah, yes.
Do they know who's working light duty? Does he, like, if I'm not mistaken, Darren's working light duty
I'm
today?
taking care of his because he's assigned.
Okay, because he's not in crew sets today, so.
I haven't got there yet.
I just wasn't sure if you were doing that or if it was one of the.
It's
8
whoever the
guys.
light duty person's assigned to.
Okay.
So now he's assigned to me, so I've been putting him in every day. I agree, I have not put him in today, haven't been in my office today.
I was just clarifying.
And if I forget, remind me.
John, how about we just give it to the captains? If you just send us an email saying, hey, Darren Bree is on light duty, until further notice, and we just put him in. Because in that way, you've got 4 people doing it and not kind of sort of maybe,
But
if you get a chance.
You know he's not working tomorrow?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you tell us.
He's half a day on Monday?
If you tell us what his schedule is.
I only learned this.
I'm just trying
That's
to
not a bad
alleviate
option.
the issue of, 30 people putting names in that we might miss that day.
Right. One thing that's a little unusual with a light duty person is sometimes, not always, they're on light duty because they may have an injury, right? So we're trying to rehab them and get them back to work so there's a lot of times that a light duty person may have some sick leave hours that are in there for PTE and for some other things too. So generally what we've done historically is like what Chief was saying is whoever they're assigned to will account for their hours. And then Kelly, because she's, if it's an L&I light duty thing, she is really good about keeping track of their hours that way. So
The flip side of that, though,
yeah,
somebody needs to, if we're managing the shift lines, like I haven't looked at it, you say Darren is not at work because he's on light duty, and he's not on the schedule today, but is he listed as a 24-hour firefighter on the next A shift day? Because if he's, like when someone goes on light duty, the rotation should end. I use the nomenclature because it's the last program, but cancel out the repeats and rotations so that he's gone, and then you can manually enter him. I don't think
the next day shift day is Saturday, and he's listed as vacation.
Yeah, so Saturday, Darren's listed as a vacation day on the 24-hour side.
right, you would just manually make that entry for that day.
Correct, but what happens on next Wednesday, A shift, Darren's on light duty, but he's also showing on 24. We don't have a means, like as a captain, looking at it, I'm going to take him and drag him to employees off, because he's not part of the Station 69 crew. So.
I'm gonna delete him.
Yes,
Well, yeah,
I mean, delete this occurrence,
I
whatever.
think you can trash that one occurrence and then make a new entry.
I just trashed the one when I said it that way.
Yeah, I'm
And
just.
then add them to.
Yeah.
You were right, you should be able to just delete him from the repeats and rotations, and then when he comes back on duty, you can put him back on, and it's just put him back in that 1 on 2 off, 1 on 4 off cycle.
It's almost not worth it, because it's
I
only
wouldn't
usually a
even
couple
do
of
that.
weeks.
I would just do it on a daily basis.
That's what I would do. It's only a couple of weeks
Yeah.
usually, these things, they don't last much longer than that. Same thing with the lady.
I would just look at it as a daily basis and see what the disposition is for that person for that day. And if it shows them on a 24-hour or whatever, work day or vacation day or whatever, trash that one entry, make the correct entry, and then it'll count as hours correct.
Like on Saturday, he's not working, so just delete that entry.
But it's a vacation day for him, or whatever it is,
So that's another problem.
There you go. Because then if he's.
He can have it on vacation.
He's on like basic duty on his vacation day, then he doesn't.
Yeah, it was a pre-scheduled vacation day?
Correct.
Why do people make everything so complicated?
So I think in a situation like that, and we're getting way down in the weeds here on some of this, but I think on a situation like that, where we have a light duty person assigned on 9-hour days, and they had a scheduled vacation day on a weekend, we would just work with them to reschedule that.
Right.
You know, because that doesn't seem right to get dinged for 24 hours on vacation when you're not even on that schedule. Yeah.
And the other thing is they don't, like duty people don't work holidays.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a pretty easy fix.
So you may discuss that with him, that he gets to reschedule that vacation day for Saturday.
I get back to him.
And just one other quick note for your LTs, just, I can't speak to the captains, but like, I can actually manipulate crew sets obviously from my iPad at home to change schedule and do that kind of stuff. Any one of the captains can have access to do that. So if you have any issue or a question, please, just give us a call or something. And so that would be good too.
Well, I have.
Yeah.
Let's talk, I think.
I got my hot tub, my water got a little bit on the hot tub thing, but I was able to manipulate it.
Don't I know that float?
Mine does now, yeah.
No, I was being weighted in by a beer.
Used to make them look down there. Okay, so let's move on here. I know that you have some more stuff that we want to talk about today.
Give you 10 minutes.
Okay. Fire chief recruitment at the last board meeting. We were hoping that the commissioners would make a decision on a recruitment process, but they haven't just yet. So just to let you know that they haven't decided on a recruiting company to go with. Still in process, so I would imagine that at the January meeting, that's probably going to be discussed again.
Well, what's on the agenda?
It's on the agenda, so we'll see, but for right now, they have just let us know that they're not going to rush and try to get a process going right away, but they've had, I believe, 3 companies now that they've talked to about the recruitment process. They just haven't pulled the trigger on who that might be. That's what's going on there. They've also, we have also budgeted for sometime this year to hire a consultant to do a master plan. I think I touched on this earlier. We haven't put that on the schedule yet. That's about a 6-month process to have a company come in and do a master plan for us. It's a big, big process. Again, we haven't put it on the schedule yet. It is budgeted, and that'll be something that we're going to be looking at here and talking about in the next few months. But as you can see, 2019 is filled with a lot of activity, a lot of stuff going on. 12-person staffing started the 1st, and which is pretty exciting. That's a good thing for our department to do. I'm really excited about that. Let me know how it goes as the days go by here. As far as keeping a 12-person staff, and I think we're going to be okay. We do have the mandatory overtime language now that we need to hold people over until we get those positions filled. So make sure you guys are aware of the new language that talks about how to do that to maintain our minimum staffing levels. So 3-person engine companies are a good thing. All right. I already talked about the admin changes, the training division, that kind of thing. Kevin Byrie, I'm quite certain you're still online, or I hope you're still online there, but I would just like to thank you and your crew over there for the work you've done on the SCBA committee stuff. I know there's some folks that were on that. Captain Nathan said you were part of that. And I think they passed some new BAs around the department to look at. We have already told the commissioners that is an item that we will be needing here this year, and they're fully aware of that. So we are going to replace our SCBAs hopefully by the end of this year and get you guys some new things out there. So very exciting. I know they're.
And who's going to make the decision on which ones?
Well, the committee, it's a committee-driven decision.
Right.
It's not going to be a management decision. It's going to be the committee decision. That's why we're for.
Did they make a recommendation yet?
I've got some stuff on paper that I haven't reviewed yet. They put together a really nice report. I have yet to go through all the details of it. It'll be a committee-driven decision.
Okay.
Yep. So thank you, Kevin, if you can hear me. And then Chief Hollander, my last thing on my list is actually your thing. Ambulance committee and spec and all that kind of stuff. Can you update us on where we're at?
Yeah, we have a meeting with you and the committee on next week, when Sean is on, was it the 9th or 10th?
Yeah. I believe one of those days.
Yeah, so we finished all of our projects. We postponed it for December because there were just too many things going on with the chief leaving and everything that was on the agenda, the end of the year budget. So we'll be meeting with you with our recommendation, and after that will come out with a recommendation to take to the board. It's on the agenda, and we're up then the board gives us the authorization to go ahead and order a new ambulance. 8 months delivery time.
That's an 8-month time?
8 month.
Okay.
Yeah, so end of summer we should have new ambulance unless they give us the okay to order 2, which we might ask for.
Is it the same style and layout as what we have,
It's
or?
gonna be white.
The plan is
Style.
DJ. The plan is DJ. It's exactly the same layout that we currently are running in our 8 cars right now. just with new modernized
Except it's gas.
equipment and
V10.
glasses.
E450 chassis with the V10 gas
And
motor.
V10 and black over red. No, they'll be red. Sorry.
Yeah, it just got too much going on with Christmas and Burnett leaving to try to get it all done by the end of the year, so we postponed it. We want to do it right, so we just postponed it forward.
Okay, that's all I have on my list. Kevin Jorgensen, you got some more stuff you
So
want?
I only have one thing, if we're going this way,
Yeah.
just a quick update on the, they did approve the septic, system replacement,
Those kinds of
Resolution
things.
69. However, you can't do it in the middle of winter when it's as wet as it is. So we'll be getting the contractor to come up with the design and work with the county, getting all the permits. The goal is to get it installed July and August. So that wasn't, it was not really a decision that the commissioners had to make, it something that had to happen. So just want to let you guys from 69 know.
Yeah, we just drive around it, we just drive around the puddle of poo in the backyard.
Floaters. So that's all that's the only thing I had.
Is there has anybody ever looked into, our pagers are getting old and have they come out with any better pagers, nothing like that brick or anything, but anything that got better reception?
Well, it's not really the pager problem that's giving us the reception.
I know,
It's
but
the
it's-
narrow banding and the towers.
Yeah,
that-
but I mean, have they come up with a pager that will pick this stuff up better than what we got now?
I did get a flyer from Northwest Communications on a new one, but what's happening now is Prospect is looking very strongly at text, auto text instead of, this is kind of going away, pagers are going away. And do you carry a smartphone? Do all of the,
Most of the guys.
drivers carry smartphones? And I can tell you what we do with the rehab group is we text them when we want them instead of using pagers. And they always get that text. So it's kind of Prospects in transition, and during the transition, they actually have a pager that receives tones and text. So, we're always looking, but it's not the pager's fault, it's the radio system fault.
Because I know, like, the deal, the pulse point is what we rely on a lot. And that gives us a chance to go to the little boys' room before even our tone goes off.
I do the same thing.
And I was just wondering if they come up with any, because our pagers, the guys are talking, well, our pagers are getting old, and what they're gonna come up with, or is something coming down the pipe?
There's something coming down the pipe from Versaterm right now that will send a tone to the pager and a text to your phone.
One other thing,
Same call
I
at the same time.
called yesterday, I called for all the new volunteer firemen coming in. They are trying to, it'll be around January the 19th, that they're gonna have a deal to send through the session of upping the pay for the retirement pay for the volunteers. They're gonna try to up it $50 a month at least. But they're also going to start taking more money that's gotta be paid in every year. So this is what's gonna come down through the legislature, the lady said. This is what they're trying to go, but she said call back after.
It's going up from $30 a month to something else?
It's gonna go up, yeah, it's gonna go up some, but they said for volunteers, and then anybody that starts after 2020 or something, there's gonna be some other changes. But for right now, they hope to raise it $50 a month for retirement.
Good.
So that's what I found out so far.
Well, when that happens, I'm sure Benita will, our finance will be informed. And
Yeah.
make all the appropriate changes, but that's good.
Okay.
Sorry, Chris, I just thought we were going this way and I wrote one thing. I thought of one thing else though, that I'd let Chris talk now.
All right, I don't have too much, but thank you for your attention with the Rescue Hub program. This is going to be an ongoing thing, but if you run into complications, I can honestly say the support is local with them, and they're very quick to get back to you, or if you see an issue, please just let me know so we can just continue improving that program and making that program grow. So there's a lot that we have in the program that you don't see already, especially in the library, the contents, but that'll become more active as we go through the quarters and out throughout the year. So that is in there. If you have anything, any programs or training topics or materials that you want to see put in that program, just email it to me and I'm happy to put it in. Okay? The more information we can build up in there that everyone has access to, the better. So That being said, thought I could get away with these one more time. But if you take a look at your spreadsheet that we are getting away from, you see there's a lot of blanks, especially for fourth quarter, and there's some crews that have a lot of blanks throughout the year. So we haven't forgot about these. We still need to try to complete these to the best that we possibly can and get this information into Firehouse so we can get this complete, this fulfilled, and then we can just kind of move on to this year. So if you have any questions about this, please let me know so we can get this all completed. The certifications, I did hand out this. I know a lot of you have talked to me about missing the certifications. If you have those, perfect. It could be this is something I asked Marcia to do, and it could be that she missed some. But if you do have those certifications, what I'd ask you to do is just go to the rescue program and upload your certification into your profile. And that way it's in there, it's done, and we have a copy of that, okay? As we go through, or if you attend a class or whatever the case is, if you get a certification from that class or a new certification period, upload that into the Rescue Hub program, okay? And that way we have access to it, and we can print it out, we can do whatever we need with that, so.
I think I tried to upload the certificate last week. I emailed you. It wouldn't give me access to do that. I had to go through you.
Okay. I will look into that. I don't know why that is, but I'll look into that. Any other questions about that? Perfect. That's really about all I have.
Okay, let's take some time, go around the room. I'd like to hear from everybody and what's going on in their world, on their shift, on their crew, in their station, in their day room. Jeff?
The only thing is the new guys at 12s are working out great. I think they're doing a great job. And, yeah, that's all we're focusing on right now.
Keeping
You
up
guys.
okay?
Yeah, they're doing great. I'm trying to find something wrong with them, but I can't. So, yeah,
Got it. Good. Good to hear, Joel.
same here.
We're moving folks around this time, you know, and at the end of the probationary period, we'll be able to reflect on that and see how we did and see if that's the right thing to do. I think so far, I've heard really good things about what's going on out there. It sounds pretty cool. So thanks you guys for all that.
So with that said, we got a lot going on, all these promotions and people stuff. Do we have a current firefighter list?
So the PST program that we use, it refreshes all the time. So it doesn't remain very active because people come and go off that list all the time. When we do go to that list again, it's fresh as we can get it. So, yeah. Good question. Joel, did you have anything else? You good? Yeah.
Everything's good in my head. DCMPs. Everything's good.
So, Mike, we're going to be expanding out into the district with our ECIPs soon, and pre-fire planning and those kind of things. We may pick your brain a little bit over the next 6, 8, 10 months on some of the processes because you're so good at the processes and stuff. So we may lean on you a little bit.
Sure. I'll glean whenever I can.
All right. Thanks for doing that. That was good.
Things good on Z shifts. Nothing to report.
Nothing? Okay. Hang in there, man. You're doing good. Keith?
Lot of testing's just about done, just a few over on this side that we're gonna pick up.
Great.
So-
Regular crew right now,
When you get those ladder test results, we're still using Firehouse for inventory test results. Occupancies, we're still going to be using Firehouse till we find some other programs or Image Trend gives us a way to use it, because Image Trend currently doesn't have all those other items available to us, although they said it's coming out in the next release. I've never heard that before, but that's what they said. So when you get those results, I can help you, show you, or help you work with you to put all of those test results in one batch, so you don't have to enter every single ladder at once.
yeah.
We can batch enter it.
I did not see any results from last year's. They were looking for them over there.
That's why I brought it, because I wonder who's putting them in Firehouse.
Well, last year they were done with the hose testing, and the shop was in charge of that, basically, with the hose testing and the pumps and everything they were doing. I never saw the results, so as far as I know, they're over there somewhere.
So, okay, we should find those results, because that's one of the things we do get audited on.
I think they're probably in
Yeah.
a stack in a truck on Custer School.
You can swing by there on barrels, so we can.
The easiest thing we found to do, and we did that, was hose testing. We just did it. We went in and batched all of the hoses, and said they all passed the annual inspection. Then we went back and only changed the ones that failed. So the entry was actually a lot simpler that way, rather than going to every single hose inventory and putting in there it passed. So we can batch all the ladders passed, and then just go back and adjust the ones that failed. That seems to be the easiest way to do that.
When you surplus that tender this year, did you happen to identify which ladders were on there so we could take them off the list?
No, but you could drive across the street and get the inventory.
I was just wondering if you
It's
wrote
still
it
there.
down.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Keith, thank you for doing that. Appreciate you heading that system up. Good job.
Tony, yes, sir.
Like LT Offset said, Cody's doing good. Him and Aaron are working really well down there. I think our rigs haven't been as clean as they have been the last couple months and couple years. But no, he's doing good. The only thing is he probably could use just some more calls. But now that we're as busy as 63 down there at the Station 12.
When do we get on at 63?
The only other thing I want to say is Dale and I talked real quick before our break there, but he came out and helped us out on one of our windy days with a bunch of power lines down, and that was the day that you guys had to go up to Canada, and you guys were stuck on a call, and so we needed to be a little more available. So he, even though it probably wasn't real exciting, he came out and babysat a couple power lines so we could get back into service. So I just want to say thanks to Dale and everybody.
Thanks, Dale, for doing that.
You bet.
Very cool. PJ.
Just to kind of dovetail on what Jeff asked earlier about a firefighter list, do we have a plan for an academy if we do need to hire?
That's a great question. As everybody's, I'm quite sure aware of, and Captain Schmidt may even have more updated information than I, but the Academy's going through some structural upgrades down there, you know, the tower and whatnot. And last maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but last I heard was that they are gonna have sporadic academies this year. I think they have one going now, maybe, and then one later on in the fall, in August start date or something like that. So if we wanted to come up with an alternative, there are options for us out there, and we have been talking with labor about that to see if they'd be willing to explore other options. We got a phone call from the city of Bellingham in December with that same topic. They said, hey, if you guys are interested, would you want to put some people into a joint academy with us? And so we talked about some of the details of that. One of the things that the city of Bellingham does not do that we do is state certify our firefighters. And so that would be something that we would provide to State Proctor and get them state certified. So that's another option. There's an option in Snohomish County if the academy at the state level is not available. So when we get to that point, we've already started talking about some things that we could do. So yeah, good question.
Okay. A few months ago, we talked about hard suction on some of the engines, and has that gone anywhere?
It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
There was a decision.
We're not doing it?
Correct.
Okay. Do all these people with dry hydrants know that?
We have a tender at your station that has hard suction on it.
Okay. So we just take the tender to all the calls?
I don't know what your concern is on.
Well, and the opportunity has not come up where it has been a dire need, though half of our area is dry hydrants.
And you should be tandeming your rig. You should be taking your engine and your tender to a call that's a structure fire where you have no water.
What if you're already out?
Then you should be calling for the tender support. That's part of being a company officer, is knowing where your response area is, and not just worrying about, I got a dry hydrant that has never been tested, never been flown, never been anything since we've been here. And that's the ultimate reason. You've got 2 sticks of hard suction on each one of the tenders. I believe, Dale's rigs have all got hard suction on them.
Yes, all the tenders and engine 12 had them. Yeah, we talked about that.
Good question, thanks, TJ.
So communication on that would be good, since the decision was made and not brought down to everyone.
Should have been in the notes.
It was in the officers
In
meeting.
the office minutes.
Mm. Okay.
I would have guessed Jenny would have put it in
Yeah, good.
there. Okay.
I just have one thing, I was curious if there's any way that we have budgeted to get Station 63, the outside, the turned brown doors and stuff painted a different color, kind of spruce the station up just a little bit.
The white guttering, and the white guttering.
And the white guttering, I mean, I don't know, but you know, it was 69 got theirs painted, I think it was, if we could like start to match the stations or make them look close to the same, but I mean, literally when you drive 63, it looks like a shit box. I mean, just because of the brown and everything else that's associated to that, and since we get a lot of traffic and a lot of people there, I'm just curious. I was by Swift the other day, and the reason I breathed it, their station looks good when you drive by the thing. It's a nice looking station. I'm just curious.
So, to answer your question specifically, no, nothing specific was budgeted.
Okay.
Secondly, those kinds of requests need to come in at budget time in August, looking into the budget. Step number 3, that doesn't preclude us from doing it this year.
Okay.
There are funds available. I think it's a great idea. And, why don't you let that go?
Okay. I'd be willing to call and get the bids and that kind of stuff, whatever. Or I could just wait till next year for the budget process or whatever. Yeah.
Well, let's get it done before June 1st.
So let's.
Talk to me about that, Will. I agree, I think it should be done.
I agree, it's so.
We can find
it. Really
It's
is.
just an ugly looking station. I mean, probably just-
I thought you guys liked it that way. You guys liked it.
If there's things like that.
We really don't.
Things like that you identify, and try to remember to bring them up in that August timeframe.
Yeah.
When the budget's being put together and the capital requests are approved, that's the time you want to remember those things, and I never do.
Okay.
I always forget those things. And then they come to me as the budget's.
I'll send my,
approved.
I'll notice in my phone.
Yeah, put a notice yourself, but we'll definitely deal with that.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Captain Smith?
I had one because it's just been nagging, and this is the group to bring it out. I'm struggling a little bit with the auto-generate narrative and image trim. And if it was me, my recommendation would be to take it to district council. I worked in an agency before that did an auto-generate, and that attorney's mindset was, if you didn't write it down, you can't be held accountable for it. And then coming here, Firehouse has always had the ability to auto-generate as well, but it was decided to turn it off because at that point in time, the district's attorney said, if you didn't write it down, it didn't happen, and you're subjecting yourself to potential liability. I don't know because I haven't gotten in there, but when we sit there and say auto-generate SOAP format, and then you have to go back and massage it. I don't know how much massaging that is, but I know that a lot of the firefighters have gotten to the point that, you know, the narrative is the breeds part of what it was in Firehouse. It's rote memory, HPI, PHI, you know, and got all of the necessary information in. You know, and I even with Firehouse, when I would talk to people and train them on Firehouse, it was, you know, does your spidey sense tingle at any point in time because of some dynamic on this incident? You know, this is a potential litigation. Make sure that you check every single box. Make sure that you're very thorough and detailed and accurate in your report. To me, it seems if we're going back in to massage it anyway, and that's a 3 or 4 minute process, but to write a narrative from scratch is a 7 or 8 minute process. I'd be interested. My recommendation to you would be that we check with district legal counsel and find out what their thought is. Just because everybody else is doing it, I don't know that necessarily makes it prudent. You know, and anytime there is litigation, I think I've been called to 2 incidents in my career And it was a godsend to be able to have my written narrative in my hand to remember those details, because that stuff never comes out of the pipe. So you don't go on the call in January and have the lawsuit in February. It's usually 3 years down the line. And if I wasn't impressed with what I saw in the auto generator, so.
I know most of a lot of crews, they still go back to the station. I mean, Zach and John both go back and write a Word document and then copy it and paste it into the new image tracker, just because that way they've got not only a mirrored event, but that way, 3 years from now, they've got their file of calls. They just look up that day and it's right there in front of them instead of having.
I don't know, thoughts.
And the one thing I would want to add to it is I agree with you, find out which way to go, but I would ask not to turn off the auto generate. If we decide that we want to put our own in, great, but the handy part of the auto generate is, I don't know if you guys have found this yet or not, but it's really hard to give the patient report over the phone with the iPad, because you got to go through different spots to find everything to tell the nurse. If you hit auto generate, it puts it all on one screen.
Oh, excellent.
All of the vitals, everything goes to one page so that you're not bouncing around. You can always delete it because there's a place to rewrite it, but it's just a quick way, put everything in one box so that while you're right in the back of the ambulance, you can call the hospital and everything.
And I certainly wouldn't advocate for disabling it like we did in Firehouse. But whatever the decision process is, I think it does need to be unilateral in the sense that if you say, you know, yes, you can auto-generate a SOAP, but then write your full narrative below. If you choose to, well, we know how that's going to go. You know, there will be a Zach that will repeatedly write out and copy a Word document, and then there's going to be those that are just going to say auto-generate. I worry about people hitting auto-generate and not going back in and massaging it, as you say, and just saying, I hit auto-generate. It was a nothing call. It was no big deal. We have those personalities as well, and especially if we're not QCing reports at this point in time, put a second set of eyes on things to make sure, you know.
You'll be QCing early next week.
Which is good, but that's one of those ones where you know, we're my preference to tell subordinates, you just write a damn narrative, because I have a responsibility for their protection. You know, we're not exempt from civil litigation, and if the information's not in there, you didn't do it.
Yeah, and I'm on the same mindset as you. You know, if you push a button and it gives you a boilerplate response, that's not necessarily what actually happened. And so 3 years down the road, there's no way for you to remember it. So personally, I think you have to have some personal information written in there so that you can remember what you did on the scene. I don't see it any other way, really.
So I agree with you, it's still your report. You're still responsible for that report. I think the word auto-generate might be bad. It's more like a jump start to your report. It sets up the SOAP format so you can basically complete that. But you still, it's not a report. You still have to go back in and basically put the information in. It just kind of jump starts it for you. So it still puts all the other information you've done automatically into the report, but you do have to go in. It's not a report until you actually go in and basically finish what a jump started for
You
you.
decided it was a poor choice of words on that part.
And you know,
Complete the auto narrative, maybe.
It is imperative that when you put all the information in the pad, like the medications, it dumps all of that in the SOAP narrative. So you have to be really thorough in filling out all your times and all your vitals and all that kind of stuff. But it takes all that information and puts it in the narrative for you. But if you don't do the work in the front, in the back half, there's nothing in the narrative. I mean, it just, you know, it says you went to a call, and it doesn't really tell you anything else in there, you know. But every one of the medications, they got 35 meds. If you put them all in there, it dumps 35 meds in the narrative.
And when we see them the 12th time in that year,
it's all in there. So you just got to make a little effort up front, and I think to just make sure to pass it on to our people and to read it before we post it or save it or whatever. Like, so wait, but this is incomplete. You need to, you know, add medical 5 or this kind of thing or whatever in there.
And I think I think they have the capability of making that narrative box red. Even with the auto narrative, we can change, I can ask that question, can we make it red so it's mandatory that you go to that box and make some kind of adjustment? If you want.
Yeah,
Or you can do it at your level, and just tell your crews. That's not, an auto narrative is only the start, you need to write it.
Right.
It's just putting the stuff in, helping you jumpstart your.
Especially if it's something we should concern about. You know, if there's some kind of, you know, like I said, there's spidey sense sticking on the call, whether it's a dangerous call or somebody who's speaking.
Yeah, I
Kind of
mean, I
what you're
agree
saying,
with you.
or.
Motor
you know,
vehicle accident, something, but an elbow fall, you know, with a fracture, I mean, it's probably not gonna sue the fire department because we took you to the hospital and it's split in your arm. And so, yeah.
Well, just like when we went to the training, don't take the lazy approach on it. You
Right.
have to fill out that report.
Right.
Just like the medications, just like what you were saying. Don't take the lazy approach. You have to put those in so that way we build up that database. Down the road, it's gonna be a lot easier to use, but you have to put that initial.
And one of the other ones, and with this, and I'm speaking from ignorance, and I apologize for that. Firehouse did some of those things not as well. But Firehouse created a problem, and I don't know if Image Trend has that problem, where if you put in William Davidson as the patient, and I put in Bill Davidson, and, you know, Stephanie put in, there's some patients that we go to once a week, and they're in there 8 different times because someone didn't capitalize their last name, or, you know, I don't know how.
Suzanne.
We have to be diligent on our front load.
Well, it's attention to detail. I mean,
Take a good look that they're not in there.
William is spelled as a proper name with a capital W, you know, kind of things. And some of the you know, and we don't put everybody's name in all caps, you know, which some people have done.
Standard.
Exactly. That's the word I was looking for. Right.
I think the difference now is you'll be having that list of patients, frequent patients on your iPad on the call instead of waiting until you get back to the station.
That might make a difference.
Right? And you'll go, wow, there's 3 Williams in here. This is the one at this address. Boom.
Yeah.
You have it right in front of you instead of going back to the station and typing it in.
Yeah.
It's a little easier looking at multiple second patient calls.
And that's the ignorant side, you know.
It pops right up and asks you right away.
If you don't put the middle initial in on one call and you do put it on the next call, in Firehouse, that wound up being 2 distinctly different
Still going to be the
patients.
same problem, but you'll be looking at the list much earlier in the call.
Something kind of fun, I didn't know this yesterday, but we had a medication I was looking up, WC Cotton. You ever heard of that? It's not in the list drop down or whatever. I guess it's for this lady who has abscesses, but they put a narcotic in the gauze. So when they rub it up against the abscess or whatever, there's narcotic that goes into the abscess. It's called WC Cotton or something like that. I thought it was a comedian at first, and I thought they were messing with me, but no, I'm just kidding. But anyway, it's just kind of fun, but I write that in there, and it dumped it into the narrative. Even I describe it in the sheet right there.
You can add
So yeah, I can add
medications
medication if they're not in there, yeah, you know, and that kind of stuff. So in the section down below it, you can just handwrite them in or whatever, and it takes it and dumps it into the narrative as well. Yeah. Anyway.
Good. Stephanie?
One thing I wanted to bring up, I know Station 12 officers are aware of it, and those within the chain of command, but firefighter Ross's locker, personnel locker, was messed with again. Somebody broke into it. So just keep an eye out, be aware of things going on. If you hear talk around the stations, report it. But it's been an ongoing issue, so just keep aware of it.
And it happened a couple times in my forum cabinet in the office as well, when I was there.
Just keep an eye out for that sort of thing. And then figure everybody's here, so I'll probably let you know that most people know I've accepted that conditional offer with BFD.
Congratulations.
There's potential for that here in the near future.
You got a final date?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, at this point, what I've done is I've requested a leave of absence, and so that's pending with Chief Winchester right now. Once I hear back on that, once I receive that conditional offer, then I'll move forward with additional things.
Just keep us posted so we can breakfast or something like that. Okay.
Kevin Ward?
Just a couple quick things. We're still in the process with Stokes. We're just rotating that through with the shop right now. As they bring the rigs in, you'll start noticing the Stokes baskets being placed on the rigs that don't have them. the sisters, 3 sisters, will have them mounted underneath the hose bed cover. And it's worked fine at Station 63, so we have no issue with that. Engine 12 will have some modifications done to it, where the hard suction will be mounted on the step, above the compartments, you know, the notch. And then the Stokes basket will then be bracket made for it, and it will be placed on the ladder rack.
Where the hard suction
Where the hard
was.
suction was. It'll be in a Stokes condom, just like ladder 63s is. So it'll help protect from the weather and UV as well. So that'll be coming up here within the next few months as those rigs come in for service. We got authorization from Capital this year to go to bid to replace our thermal imaging cameras. So just be aware that just like we did with the SCBA's, you'll start noticing thermal imaging camera floating around at the stations. It'll be there for a week or so for you to play with, and there'll be forms there for you to fill out. Granted, there's the form itself is pretty detailed. It does have stuff on there as far as fire goes. So if you do have the chance of taking it on a call and using it on a call, we've been given carte blanche by the manufacturer to be able to use them as we would use them normally. So.
So I take it we're not using the internal thermal imagers in our SCBA's? Is that- Are the ones
So anyway, hopefully,
name.
yeah, hopefully we'll be getting.
Guy country.
We're going to look at 4 different manufacturers this year. MSA, Bullard, Scott's got a brand new one coming out, and then Avon is the other brand that we've got. The Philip brand. That's not Avon that you think. You're not putting makeup.
Get a case of lipstick.
I don't know, it looks like it was made by Avon.
It's bright yellow and.
Yeah, that's
Pink
true.
Cadillac.
It
It's like
is
a
yellow.
bird.
And it's
Oh, wait, that's Mary Kay.
If Ford buys 4, you get the pink car.
That's Mary Kay, that's not Avon.
Oh.
Don't ask me how I know that.
Wow.
Gender fluid, that's
Yeah.
the term.
Where's the HR? Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
Captain
We made a concerted effort to try to do nozzle testing this year, and it didn't quite work out for us. We ended up bringing the rep from TFT in to go over some things. So we kind of failed in our 2018 testing of nozzles. Hopefully we'll fix that in 2019. I would say that if you guys are having problems with some of those TFT nozzles at all, there's a procedure for maintenance on them. So if you think that something's sticking or that the nozzle isn't operating right, you should send it to 63 and we can do some maintenance on them and send it back. Because they really haven't been maintained through the life of, as far as I know, of the nozzles. So we'll try to dial in our process, kind of like we did hose testing, and see if we can do something better in 2019. But just so you know that we tried, but I failed. So.
Thank you.
Pretty much. Yeah, it is what it is.
It is a shift.
Yeah, and we did. It is a shift, so I'm trying to
Just
keep
trying
that
to take up the
tradition
mantle
on.
that we've been passed.
Yeah. And if anybody finds that spare TFT nozzle that was somehow lost in that testing process, that'd be great to somehow find out where it went. So that's really all I have.
I have one thing to add on to that. Please don't try to maintain them yourself. Send them back to 63. We've got 5 of us, 6 of us that have been shown how to properly maintain them. It's very simple to do, but if you don't maintain them correctly, it creates quite a mess. After what the rep told us, that they had folks that were at one department that were shown how to do it, and then somebody looked online and said, oh yeah, I know how to do it, and then they over-maintained it, and they were dripping oil out of the nozzles constantly. So it's one of those things where
We just face them in olive oil once a month. Is that
Well,
the way
you
you do
know,
it?
That's the way I do it.
dip them in a vat. It's a big 55-gallon drum.
Extra virgin
Yes.
olive oil.
But he asked us to make sure that we have certain people that know exactly how to maintain them, so that it's all consistent across the board. So if you have one that's not working, even the L carts and that, if you've got a problem with one of the other nozzles, please send them back to 63 or send a request for repairs, and I'll get you at least a replacement out. And L carts and Acrons are a little different as far as maintenance goes, but the TFTs are pretty pretty straightforward and will be relatively easy to maintain once we have a problem.
And that's for everything from, you know, you're changing your fog to straight stream, and if you think that you're not getting enough gallons out of the end, sometimes that valve will stick as you're ramping up the pressure, so that's just things to watch for when you're using it.
Dale? We had a busy year, trying to keep the little band of thieves together. We keep losing trucks, from just being flat, wore out or whatever. We could probably all use a cost of living raise, at least the captain could. But other than that.
Amen to that, Dale.
Why not ask?
Hey, 1,000 times hey.
But, that's about it. Just don't be afraid to call us. If you want us to, come just to the station, man the station, stand by. If you don't need us, send us back home. But don't wait 20 minutes, half an hour to decide, dadgum, maybe we should use it. We aren't afraid to drive to the station and sit there and wait for you guys to make the next decision. So, any which way, we'll hope for a good year, but hope we can keep our trucks together. About it.
Thank you, Dale. Cap?
I do got one more thing. So, past couple weeks, thank you to, I know I received 3 kind of heads up, this is what happened in the ER type incidents. So thank you for that. Nothing's ever come out of them, but those are great things to hear. And then a couple trauma type heads up and a couple of CPR type heads up. So please keep that up. This is just good things to have in the back of the head and be able to bring forward if necessary. So.
Chief Holmes, do you have anything else?
One last thing that just popped into my little mind. The district has signed an agreement with Pogo Zone for internet service that will allow them to add a few more poles to a few stations that don't have poles currently. You'll notice that 69 has a pole, 68 has a pole, 72 has a pole. There's a few others out there, I think, but I know 63 is going to be getting one. So if you see a crew show up, start digging holes and things, certainly call me, but it's most likely that's what's happening. And we will, on the downhill side of the internet, be making some changes to the network. You won't notice any difference at your end, other than internet should be faster. And the second thing is, if station 69 goes down for whatever reason, we won't lose internet service to all the other stations. We're kind of individualizing the stations versus having them in one big loop. You probably won't ever notice a change unless I send you an email that we have an outage because we're in the middle of a switch, which we'll try to do at a good time. So those are a couple things that will be happening at the beginning of this year. I don't know when those poles are going in. Actually, we're signing that contract with them. The commissioners have signed it, and they'll be signing it tomorrow morning. So that's one other thing that we're doing to keep us busy because we kind of ran out of things to do.
Who cuts the grass at 72?
D69.
No, it's supposed to be the.
Oh, that's right,
the
volunteer crews are supposed to do it now.
That's what I was gonna say, so whoever did it in the past just got a break.
Yeah.
We signed an agreement with the folks that own the Northwood store for some of the property that they're utilizing now in exchange for cutting the grass and maintaining the property there. So whoever did it in the past is off the hook.
Do we still have residents coming to Semyama?
Don't look at me. Let me just tell you, the building is ready.
We have 2 folks that are in the process right now, and I believe they went through medical, physical, and some other things, but we're hoping to get them in there in the next month or so.
We got one person that's going to do a background check, one person that's hasn't given me a final decision, so hopefully 2 people, but hopefully in the next month or so.
That's the plan. Yeah. Real quick, go to the order, and then we'll get you guys out of here. So about a month and a half ago, I think it was the Daryl's fire. Double wide, we had a citizen that was driving down Sunrise Road and noticed a house fire. Her and her son, I believe it was, pulled into the driveway and got the occupants out. The occupants of the house didn't know their house was on fire. And not only that, the occupants were, they spoke Spanish, so there was a language barrier there. But the citizen that got these people out of the house kept them out of the house and made sure they were all safe. To me, that's a really heroic thing to have happen. And we're going to recognize that at the February board meeting, give them a citizen commendation for their heroic efforts in our fire district and making sure that our citizens were safe. So I just love that stuff. Those are things that don't happen all that often, and we're going to make sure that we thank them appropriately. So that anybody that can be there at that board meeting, please come and support them. We're also going to try to get the people that were in the house here as well with an interpreter so that they can hear it, they can understand what's going on. But really a great thing. I listened to the audio. Bellingham sent us the audio of that call, the 911 call, and it was pretty cool. She was just driving down the road and like, hey, I think that roof is on fire. And she pulled in there and knocked on the door and heard her son, got everybody out. And you know what it's like, the occupants always want to run back in and grab the cat or whatever. But she maintained them and kept them outside until our crews got there and started fighting fire. So really cool. We're going to make sure they're recognized for that. And then lastly, we sent out the ballots for our internal awards for this year. Make sure you guys get that, fill it out, send it in to Jenny. And we'll most likely do those awards in March is what we're thinking. We're behind this year. But we want to make sure that we recognize Firefighter of the Year, Volunteer of the Year, and Employee of the Year. So if you have any nominations, fill out those ballots, send them in, and we'll get those awards out. All right?
Something else that happened on that fire, and I don't know if anybody actually knows that, but the crews, they were actually able to save their wallets. Pete did most of the work, and some very valuable family heirlooms because the fire was in the attic, and instead of flooding the house, we actually took the time to do salvage. John did, and recover a lot of personal effects before we actually ended up flooding the trailer. So that's another part of that.
Well, that's fantastic.
That should be also mentioned along with the crews did that.
I did do an after action.
Yeah, you did. It was early January.
Yeah, I read that.
Early December. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Good.
Good job, John.
You guys are great. Keep up the good work. Thank you for your support this year. Have a good year. Have a good day. Bye.
You're in a hurry to go.
Another thing we don't want to ever use.
Oh my gosh. All right. I'll do a couple of shots. Well, that's why I mentioned it. I thought it was gonna work.
Yeah, we should invite every day at a time. Okay.
Yeah. You guys exchanges out. Where are you going?
I don't know what it's,
Yeah, I don't even know, I've never been before.
Oh, you have?
I don't know what to call anything.
You're gonna love it.
Everything ends with a who.
You're gonna love it. Great place to go.
Yeah, it'd be my first time. Okay, thank you, I'll look at it. I work
Yep.
Sunday, Monday, so I'll look.
Yep. Have a good afternoon.
You guys too.
I haven't heard anything about it. Well, I got a peek.
Oh, but how do you?
We haven't talked much lately.
I know, that's good. It's been busy.
That was a good presentation they put on.
Yeah, hopefully it cleared up some things for people. I think people are mostly positive about it. I think Image Trend kind of dampened their positivity down, thinking, it's another one of those programs. But
Well, we have a lot changing right now. We've got Image Trend, Rescue Hub, and CrewSense, all three that are like right on top of each other.
yeah,
And it's, change is hard. Change is hard. We get so used to a routine, and then all of a sudden we throw a curveball in there, and it's pulling her hair out. She's just like, but
well, it's kind of like
we'll get through it.
I think people are having a deja vu moment with the CAD system too. So we put that out there.
Right.
There was so much complications and so much that we didn't have the answers to.
We have control of it.
But it's the same thing in the county-wide system where Chief Hollander has been doing a lot of legwork and he doesn't have the answers. I'm gonna try to go to the meeting this afternoon and he's gonna go with Jeremy. So there's a lot of things that are popping up.
So I need to schedule the time with me and you and I would have to see the rest of the admin staff where we can just sit down and have a training session with you, image training, on stuff that is pertinent to us, you know, like the billing and for me, you know, I can, you know, like, look at fire reports and stuff like that. So, we'll do that in the next maybe 30 days.
Yeah, that'd be good, kind of let some of this stuff clear up.
Yeah.
And be happy to sit down individually, because there's things that you wouldn't even know about, that Janice doesn't even know about.
You think that would work better?